at the right time in order to facilitate rebuilding in a peaceful manner. He said the country is in a lot different place than it was just 2 weeks ago.
That's Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A fatal shooting involving an officer. It's mostly sunny, 69 in the Circle City. Your radar's clear. Could see some clouds for this afternoon. The high today is 86. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Police in Greenfield say a man is dead after officers opened fire when a domestic situation escalated. Police were at a home last night when the shooting happened. No officers were injured. State police are leading the investigation there. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey reacting further to the mass shooting from Saturday.
I still don't have the words to describe just how angry I am about it, and we got a lot of work to do.
He spoke with WIBC's Hammer and Nigel on Monday about the shooting and how a curfew is now being applied to try and stop any further violence in Indianapolis. 4 young people have been charged in connection to the mass shooting. While speaking to reporters at the Indianapolis City County Council meeting Monday night, Councilor Krista Carlino announced why she will not be caucusing with either party for the foreseeable future.
For me, lack of leadership, abuse of power, and an inequitable application of the caucus rules really led me to make this decision, and I feel that I'm justified in stepping away for that reason.
Also happening Monday at the council meeting, a vote on a motion to remove Council President Bob Osley and Vice President Allie Brown from their leadership roles, something Carlino has taken some heat for, along with the call for Mayor Joe Hogsett to resign. The vote failed, however, with just 4 council members seeking their removal. Starting in the 2026-27 school year, Indiana's school voucher program will become universal, meaning most families, regardless of income, will qualify for help paying private school tuition.
So for the voucher program, which again are the Choice Scholarship Program and the Tax Credit Program, those are only for private schools. They may be religious-based, they may not be, but they must be a private school.
Betsy Wiley, president and CEO of the Institute for Quality Education, says Indiana is fortunate to offer strong school choice options. She says that families can already enroll their child in a public school outside their home district for free. $3.09 per gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says Gas Buddy, a nice drop compared to this time last week. That's also the average here in Indianapolis. And now another check of traffic. Good morning, Matt Bear.
What's happening, Jared? Looking at the northeast side crash, westbound 465 between Allisonville Road and Keystone Avenue. It's blocking 2 right lanes, causing stop-and-go traffic back to Keystone. Southbound 65 still a grind before MLK down to West Street. Westbound 70 stop and go from Rural through the North Split out to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by the International Hot Rod Association. Nitro's back. The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series is lighting up the track. Grab your tickets for Columbus, July 9th through the 12th, now at IHRA.com. That's IHRA.com. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Really comfortable start here this morning. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy this afternoon. A bit warmer. Today's high 88. Partly cloudy with a stray shower possible overnight, a low of 69. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Okay, I actually, now that I've had 24 hours to sit on this, and I've talked to a lot of people who I really trust their opinion on, I think this Epstein thing with Trump could be the big one.
In what way? It's Kendall and Casey, by the way.
Yes, you're back. Congratulations. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Your welcome back present was we'll talk about one of the most high-profile sex trafficking rings in the history of the world. So welcome back to the program.
Yeah,
Hope you had a nice extended vacation there for the 4th of July. All right, so yesterday this broke while we were on the show, and we did a whole segment on it. But, like you're trying to, in real time, while the program is going on, like process. So Axios had this report yesterday, basically, that the DOJ, FBI, all the related entities are now like, yeah, we looked into it, and turns out there wasn't a client list, and Epstein killed himself.
No evidence that he was murdered. He didn't blackmail anybody. There's no client list.
Right, so this was in real time being put out by Axios. Nobody had commented on it yet, so we do the segment on it, and obviously over the course of the last 24 hours, we've had all sorts of questions being asked. People have been able to weigh in on it. We're seeing, backlash, et cetera. And one of the things, and Rush Limbaugh said this, as Rush did, better than anybody else, and this is one of the times where we really miss Rush. When Trump was first elected, Rush said, in terms of, this was for the first term, Rush said, the media didn't make Trump, so they can't break Trump. And what he meant by that was Trump won in spite of the media. He was the first sort of Republican president who never gave in to the media. He never kowtowed to them. He never said, oh, okay, well, you want me to do this, so I'll do this. The pressure never broke Trump during his presidency. And what Rush meant by that was he said, as long as Trump keeps his bond with his base and his bond centers around his word, Trump will never be able to be broken because the media didn't make him, and the public at large tunes out what the media has to say. And this Epstein thing is the first instance that I can think of in which it appears to be a direct lie, a direct breaking of his bond with his base, and the backlash that I have seen from key Trump people, unwavering Trump people, people who never criticized Trump over the past 24 hours, tells me I think this has the potential, depending on how they handle it going forward, to be a mega story and the first thing that can really separate Trump from his base.
Yeah, you're right. It's the first time the Trump administration, they have been pushing back against these conspiracy theories surrounding Epstein's death and all these alleged connections. Also interesting that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, FBI director and deputy director, were very vocal about this, especially Dan Bongino when he was a influencer. Now he's in the position, and those two, with Pam Bondi, are very quiet. I think it's interesting that Donald Trump called a cabinet meeting today at 11 o'clock, and I would just like to point out this is all happening while Netanyahu is there.
Yeah, so nobody believes there isn't a list. No reason. Now, whether it's an actual list where he wrote in a diary, don't know. But there was video cameras everywhere. Nobody believes this guy, Epstein, wasn't leveraging what was going on that island against the people who were there. Also, nobody believes that it was just him on the island.
Right.
They sex trafficked for someone. All these girls weren't there like mermaids just pleasuring him, right?
Yes.
So somebody went there. Somebody.
Well, Maxwell's in prison serving time.
Exactly. And if Epstein were an innocent man and there was no evidence of his guilt, why'd he kill himself? Why was she convicted? This is no reasonable person believes that there wasn't mass human sex trafficking going on that island and that numerous people were going to that island to participate in it with underage girls. It's ludicrous to act like it didn't happen. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is the central theme of one of the central themes repeatedly of both Trump and his orbit this last presidential election was, we will tell you the truth about Epstein. Biden wouldn't do it. We'll do it. We'll release the list. We'll name the names. We'll this. We'll that. Well, then to come out and go, especially after your attorney general, we played the clip yesterday of her saying, I've got the list. I'm reviewing the list.
Right. It's on my desk.
For you to go,
and now it's off your desk?
And the guys that you made the head of the FBI, Patel and Bongino, like you said, as media figures, as public figures, over and over and over and over again, talking about this thing, about how it exists, about how they're going to expose it, and then for you to go, that didn't happen. Nobody believes that.
There's nothing there. Well, how about all those social media influencers that showed up to the White House and were given those binders, holding up pictures, Epstein, file 1. There's more to come. We were told this is just the first tranche. There's more to come. And then now, nope, nothing to see here. Move along, people. This is what gaslighting feels like.
So this feels, because and Jerry made a good point yesterday. No, he claims he scoured the internet and has never seen the contents of a binder. So did they not get to take him home with them? All these internet influencer people just didn't take photos of them. What was in the binder? What was this all about? So this feels like, and we're going to play this thing from Carolyn Levitt, who's the press secretary. This feels like, to me, the first time where Trump has blatantly, Trump lies all the time, right? Like it's baked into the Trump orbit, but he does it in a way where people just go, well, it was just Trump being Trump, right? Like
we know that's an exaggeration.
Sure. And I'm going to end the Ukraine war in 1 day or 1 hour or whatever the thing was. Nobody actually believed that.
But no, now we're sending more weapons, and we'll get to that later.
It's like your favorite line at the concert when he always used to say, I'm going to build the wall and make Mexico pay for it. And everybody would shout, who's going to pay for it? Mexico! No, but I wasn't sitting there going, oh, man, Mexico's actually going to pay cash for this. It's like your favorite line at a concert where everybody sings along. But this thing is so big, and it's so serious, because so many of these little girls were completely abused. I want to play the Carolyn Levitt clip, and then I want to make the point that I made yesterday on social media, because Trump's admin, his orbit, now, and I say his orbit in the sense of people around him in the administration, not the online people, because they're breaking from him. But the people in his administration and his government orbit are so misjudging this, and I want to talk about it in a second, but here is what I hope Carolyn Levitt, I hope she had, those large blinkers that the trucks have to have when they're backing up into oncoming traffic with the sirens. I hope she had that, because she put some people in serious danger yesterday with this backpedaling that she did. Go.
So the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
Oh, bull. Now you're not only lying, now this is Psaki and what's-her-face, the other ding-dong after Psaki.
Karine Jean-Pierre.
And if we're going to rip them for the blatant lying and the stooge response, we got to rip her for the lying and the stooge response. That woman, Pam Bondi, went on Fox News, and she was given a very specific question, and she answered that question. Everybody was led to believe that there was a client list. Trump campaigned on it.
Right.
And for him to go, no, she just meant like the totality of the Epstein. We didn't even get that. Even if that was what she meant. Nobody's ever seen that.
Yeah. So where did it go? What happened? She said there was a list on her desk, and she was going to review it and release it to the public in a few months.
Now, as many people know, we'll run a little long on this segment, and so just bear with me, Kevin. I am a massive Chris Hansen To Catch a Predator fan.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that, most people know that I donate money to a group called Project Rescue, which fights human sex trafficking across the country. All the I Love Rob Kendall shirts, all that money goes to that, which you can still get at store.hammerandnigel.com if you want an I Love or I Hate Rob Kendall shirt. None of the money goes to me. My portion goes to Project Rescue. And sex trafficking is a massive global issue. It's not some small, isolated thing. And the public is invested in it to the point where shows like To Catch a Predator, Hansen versus Predator, the new ones that he has, Takedown with Chris Hansen. There's a whole network now that he has. People pay money to watch this. Guys, hundreds of guys on the internet make millions of dollars collectively. People giving them money, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, Patreon, where they go catch these guys. We've had them on our shows before. The public has a huge interest in stamping out child sex predators because they have kids. They know it could be their kids. These people are sick. They're disgusting. They need removed from society. The Epstein thing, I think Trump and his people underestimated how massive a deal the Epstein thing is because it was so high profile. This is not going away. This is not something that people just take lightly. And the fact that he and his people appear to have told a massive lie about this, he better come up with an answer for it, because I don't think this is going away. And I think this, Casey, might actually be the thing that finally separates him from a lot of people in the base.
So John Kiriakou, he's a former CIA officer, and he claims that the deep state likely destroyed the documents long before Patel and Bongino even got to the FBI.
I'm not blaming the FBI director, Kash Patel, or the deputy director, Dan Bongino. I think that layer beneath them, that's part of what we like to call the deep state, has taken this bull by the horns, and they've probably destroyed information. Look at what the CIA did in 1975 after Congress ordered that it release all of its files related to an operation called MK Ultra. The director of the CIA went back to headquarters and ordered everything to be destroyed. And in the end, only about 20% of the documents survived. We're still learning about the FBI's operations against Martin Luther King 55 years after the fact. So now we're supposed to believe that everybody's telling the truth, that there were no files, there were no dossiers? I'm sorry, I just don't buy it because I know how these people operate.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
President Trump is threatening an extra import tax.
Higher tariffs as early as August 1st.
I think we'll have most countries done by July 9th. Yeah.
Flash flooding in central Texas.
Frantic search.
Hear the news.
Driving in the wrong direction, killing at least one person, all eastbound lanes.
As events happen.
5 people shot.
We'll happen to be there.
14-year-old boy jumped off a boat, rescued to recovery, likely drowned.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's summer in Indiana, and I'm betting the floors in your home are dirtier than the infield the day after the 500. I'm also guessing they probably appreciate a good cleaning. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and there is no better go-to resource for cleaning those floors than Zero-Res. They can handle virtually every surface in your home. Carpets, tile and grout, hardwood, laminate, stone, upholstery, rugs, and even your air ducts. Before we get any deeper into summer, you can get 3 rooms Zero-Resified and get 1 room free and $50 off air duct cleaning too. Zero-Res means zero residue, and it's in the water they use. The unique ZR water uses no soap, no harsh chemicals, and leaves no residue, just healthy, fresh surfaces. Zero-Res cleans our floors, and I'll tell you that it is simply amazing, and it works. But don't take my word for it. Just check out the 4,900 5-star Google reviews. Call now. Mention WIBC. When you get 3 rooms cleaned, you get 1 room for free and $50 off air duct cleaning. 317-388-5141 or ZeroResIndy.com.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numbness, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Matt Schulke, chiropractic neurologist and board certified in neuropathy. What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is nerve damage in the feet or hands.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
Absolutely, and we get amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, pain, or balance issues, call Dr. Schulke today for a free nerve damage screening. This screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for their specialized treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 463-400-3338. Act now. Call 463-400-3338 for your free nerve damage screening. 463-400-3338.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Some people call me the space cowboy.
Hey! Good news if you fly.
I know.
I mean, it's not a big deal for me because I don't fly.
I've always been bothered by this. But nearly after 20 years later, TSA is removing the requirement to remove your shoes at airport security.
Yeah, so NBC News, amongst others, with the story. Now, this doesn't appear to be at all checkpoints. Some, though, I don't know, maybe some sort of pilot program or whatever they're going to call this, but they are beginning to relax, making everyone take their shoes off. I mean, it is 2025. Shouldn't we have some sort of ability to, like, wand the whole human figure? I mean, they can see all
now
your
you have
stuff.
to stand inside those things.
Well, that's my point.
And get whoosh-whooshed.
So this, of course, all emanated in 2001. That's how long we've been at this. The shoe bomber was Richard Reed. Richard Reed. Wasn't Richard Reed the guy's name on WKRP? Wasn't that the guy that played Venus Flytrap? Richard Reed, WKRP.
You mean the actor?
The guy, the guy who played Tim Reed. I'm sorry. Oh, so close.
You are so close.
I was so close.
Yeah.
Somewhere, some Tim Reed superfan is like, how could you get that so wrong?
Yeah, well, Richard Reed, he tried to blow up an American Airlines flight from Paris to Miami. He had explosives packed in his shoes. The explosives failed to detonate, and ever since then, we've been removing our shoes at airport security. And now TSA is saying you're not going to have to do that anymore. I'm trying to find out when this begins.
Okay,
that's the part I'm not finding.
Here's always been my thing on the flights.
Mhm.
Now, you know how I view the whole process. If you're subjecting yourself to the human death tube, all bets are off.
Yeah.
You're legitimately in what can be turned into a human missile, right? Like you can, as we've seen.
Clearly.
I'm not saying this lightly. Like an airplane, obviously there are numerous instances, 9/11 the most prolific of them, in which an airplane is turned into hijacked and turned into a missile and mass calamity is done. I've never actually had a problem with all the stuff it takes to get on an airplane because on the rare instances I've had to go, I want to know that everybody around me has no opportunity to make this flight any more dangerous or nerve-wracking than it has to be. And I feel like if you opt into it,
that's part of the agreement.
It's not an automobile that, and I know that there's like libertarian people because I'm Mr. Libertarian Man that are like, I can't believe you would view this way. You don't have to go on the airplane.
Right.
And I don't trust you. Not you personally, but the guy next to me. Sorry. I don't trust you and I don't know you. And you may be a wonderful person, but I already hate being on this thing to begin with, and there's so many things that could go wrong, and the last thing I need to be worried about is, like, are you brandishing some sort of, had to have the potential to brandish some sort of weapon. So I've never actually had a problem with all of this, but in a 2025 world, it does seem like they could check your feet without having you remove your shoes.
Right? I mean, you have to do everything else. Keep your laptop separate and put everything in the little container to get scanned. I always hate it. Well, I always try and wear like a sandal, so it's easy to slip on and off. But then I'm walking around barefoot in the airport, which is kind of gross. But again, it's something that you concede for everybody's safety. But if they're going to do away with it, even better. That's great. But then you get on the plane and then people take their shoes off anyway, which is disgusting.
The whole thing
Like,
could be.
People used to dress up when they traveled on a flight. Now they're in jammies and, kicking their shoes off.
Casey, everything about the flight
Picking their
experience
toenails.
is rotten. every last
So gross.
bit of it. Okay, hey, let's take a break. When we come back, we have an update on one of the ongoing sagas of the Kendall and Casey show. Our old pal, Jamie Null.
That guy's still around. What's he doing now?
Well, he is enjoying some time at a correctional facility, but his orbit is still
making news.
Justice still being processed in his orbit, and there is some big breaking news on someone very close to Jamie Null who has done something ridiculously stupid and made the news, and we will update everybody on all of that when we come back.
It's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Death toll rising. It's sunny and 72 in the Circle City. 86 is the high today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:30. At least 104 people are dead following catastrophic flooding in central Texas over the July 4th weekend as rescue teams intensify their search for the dozens of people who are still missing. Fox's Brooke Taylor with more from Kerr County.
We are surrounded by these massive piles of debris. You have mangled trees, cars that were just thrown into the river, and just these chunks of debris that rescue teams have been sifting through. They are trying to find the dozens of victims that are still unaccounted for. The death toll right now has climbed to 104 people, including 28 children. Officials say more than 40 are still missing, including 10 campers and a counselor. Heavy rain caused the Guadalupe River to rise 26 feet in just 45 minutes, according to officials. The powerful, raging waters pulled people from their cabins, tents, and trailers
The area is home to several summer camps, also including Camp Mystic, where dozens of campers lost their lives. Downstream river and lake flooding will continue over the next several days, and the Guadalupe River is not expected to reach minor flood stage until Wednesday. President Trump is expected to visit the area on Friday. He's meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week, doing so on Monday ahead of his cabinet meeting today. This as the Israeli military says 5 soldiers were killed in a recent attack in northern Gaza. Palestinian officials say 18 people were killed in recent Israeli strikes. Trump has encouraged the two sides to reach another ceasefire agreement. And former White House Dr. Kevin O'Connor is asking to delay his testimony in front of the House Oversight Committee tomorrow as part of the investigation into former President Joe Biden's alleged mental health decline while in office. The deposition is still scheduled to take place tomorrow, and the committee is expecting O'Connor to appear. If he doesn't, he would be in defiance of a subpoena. And now your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is down 46 points to 44,406. The S&P 500 up a little to 6,229. And the NASDAQ is in the green, too, 55 points to 22,685. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749.
John is in
Casey, we have an update.
Yeah, on what?
It's the song that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jamie Null.
Oh my gosh, more drama still with him?
Well,
I thought we were done with him.
It's Null and Friends.
Oh.
Or in this case, Null and Family.
Oh, yes.
So it's been a while since we've mentioned the name Jamie Null. So maybe real quick, let's just do a reset of who this esteemed member of society is. So Jamie Null was the Clark County Sheriff, and I know many of our longtime listeners know all this, but have you seen the ratings? We have new people coming in every day.
All the time.
Yeah. So Jamie Null was the former Clark County Sheriff. He was the Clark County Republican Party Chairman. Clark County is Jeffersonville, southeastern Indiana. And he was a part of the Republican Central Committee, which means he was one of probably the 20 most powerful Republicans in the state.
Yeah.
He was also Eric Holcomb's right-hand man in terms of his election. He was one of Eric Holcomb's closest personal friends. And he was also one of the other things, and most people may recognize the name from, he was one of the stars of a reality television show called 60 Days In, in which people, non-criminals, went inside the Clark County Jail to pilfer information for the guards, the sheriff's department, etc. It was a A&E, I think, had the reality show. And then over the past couple of years, it turned out Mr. Null was a pretty bad actor.
Maybe abusing his power just a bit.
I think you can eliminate the maybe.
Definitely abusing his position.
At basically every turn.
Yeah.
And he is now serving a lengthy sentence in the pokey for various crimes against humanity. As you said, he was scheming and scamming, I believe, in the sheriff's department. He was scheming and scamming over this volunteer fire department. He ended up acquiring, I believe, something like $3 million plus of, as we like to say, ill-begotten gains.
Right. But the question is, if he is serving time, doing his penance,
yes,
what new information do we have?
Well, of course, it wasn't just the esteemed Mr. Null who went down in flames. It was his daughter, his wife.
Yeah.
There are others. And
I'm going down. You're all going down with me.
So now it's the wife's turn to meet the legal system. And like some
you
sort
probably
of,
mean ex-wife.
I don't know. Are they? Did they get divorced? Are they still? I thought we'll ask. We'll find out. Because there's so much drama now going on with the wife. Misty Null is her name.
Yeah.
She had pled guilty, and then apparently, after pleading guilty, she went on a television station, WLKY, and this is according to WAV3, by the way. Quote, telling the world that she did not knowingly and intentionally commit the crime of theft.
Okay.
And so the judge down there, Medlock is the guy's name, said, wait a second. This is sort of like with the Rokita thing, when he went in front of the disciplinary commission and said, I did these things, I couldn't defend them. Give me the slap on the wrist, I'll go my merry way. And then came out and was like,
I didn't mean any of that.
Yeah, the judge is like, wait a second. You pled guilty, which meant you did it. You knew you did it. Now we got a real problem here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now she's going to come back in front of the judge and explain herself. And we got an expert who has followed all of this since the beginning. Nobody knows the Jamie Null saga like our old friend Sean Bostic. He is part of the Integrity and Accountability Facebook page. Sean Bostic, hello.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Longtime friend of the show. You've been on many times covering the Jamie Null saga. Did we summarize that properly for our audience on the latest with Null and company?
So the timeline was a little skewed. The day before she was sentenced, Larry Wilder, her cousin, who is an attorney that was the attorney for Jamie, but not her, reached out to local media groups who reached out to me. They reached out to WDRB, WLKY, Wave 3, WHS, and wanted to set up interviews for the night before sentencing. And, of course, I was not invited. I wonder why. And neither was Wave 3 because they have been so on point with the coverage. They recorded the interviews and they were released while she was in the courtroom. So she stands up and testifies under oath that she is guilty. She's crying with her Chucky doll haircut, and she's crying, and I'm going to do better. We're going to move on with my life. And boom, the judge gets home and apparently sees these news stories running and goes, hold the horses. Of course, it was a holiday weekend. So now he's called her in under contempt of court. I expect possibly a perjury charge. And even then, you know, Jamie testified that it was all him. His family did not know anything. But when she pled guilty, she said she knew. So which one of them perjured themselves in front of the judge on that?
Oh, okay, real quick. So this original sentence was 18 months in jail, followed by 4.5 years on probation. She's also reordered to pay $660,000. She pleaded guilty to stealing. That's from the New Chapel EMS service. That's according to Wave 3. Is that right?
That is 100% correct. And these thefts are only in a 5-year period because of statute of limitations. They can't go back the other 15 years of the criminal reign.
So Sean Bostic is our guest. He's with the Integrity and Accountability Facebook page. Nobody knows the Jamie Null saga quite like this. Okay, so explain what's going to happen now, because you said this judge sentences her. He gets home. He sees the TV report. He's ballistic because he says, wait a second. You just admitted to this. Now you're telling the TV something different. Something is amiss here.
Yes, so the judge has issued an order to the Clark County courts that they are going to call her back in under contempt, and he intends on setting the plea deal aside and forcing her in front of a jury. Now, here's the catch on that. She's facing, as of right now, 10 felony counts, 5 felony 5s and 5 felony 6s. So she could potentially see, conviction on all of these and be at the mercy of the jury on her sentencing now, and it won't be that sweetheart of a deal.
So what you're saying is their attempt to possibly rehabilitate her image backfired and may have made things worse.
I don't think it was an attempt to rehabilitate. I think it was her last grasping straw at being the center of attention and having the princess teacup ride. I think she was just attention seeking and it backfired. I don't even know if her attorney of record knew she was doing the interviews since it was being set up by Larry Wilder's, what I was told by the reporters that did the interviews.
Okay, so this matters for a couple reasons. Let's remind everybody why. Number one, it matters because this guy, Jamie Null, and this by the way, is she the ex-wife now? Are they divorced?
No. So she let the paperwork go dormant, and after 60 days, a court can throw it out. So she has now added some new paperwork, and it's picked up, but they are not divorced yet.
So her paperwork got 60 days in.
She had the intent.
Yeah, exactly.
See what I did
That's
there?
Great.
Hey, how about that? Hey, I'll be here all week. Okay, so this matters for our audience here, right? Because Clark County seems like a world away. But this guy and this family was thick as thieves with Governor Eric Holcomb, and I continue to maintain there is zero way that if your best friend and his family are living millions of dollars above their means, that you don't know about that. Am I wrong, Sean, for saying there's no way Holcomb didn't know something was up?
No, and don't forget that Eric Holcomb and his wife babysat Jamie's kids while they were shooting 60 Days In, and they tweeted about it. That's easily found online, the tweets between the two while the governor was babysitting Jamie's child at the governor's mansion.
And now, we don't want to go too far into this, something I know you're working on, but there's a lot of rumors that Braun was somehow connected to Null as well, right?
Yes. So the loyalists will say they hated each other, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend, especially in an election that you're trying to win and you need the Indiana District 9 vote behind you. There's no way that Braun didn't have involvement and communications with Null. There's just no possible way. That'll come out a little bit later, but what's surprising to me is why are investigations getting shut down into public corruption under Braun's new superintendent at the state police? Why are things getting shut down here and there and in Du Bois County? It's unsettling.
Okay, so you're working, as we said, on something that you're going to maybe join us here in a week or two because you may have some new information on this. And it is interesting, Sean, like we talk about this, Casey, with the indie reporter guy, our friend Stephen Whitmer. Guys like Sean and Stephen are the new media in this world.
Well, they're the only ones asking questions and doing any research and digging.
Yeah, I mean, you've done, Sean, I think, more on this to cover the Jamie Null saga and transparency than probably any big-time media outlet out there.
Correct. And I do have to shout out to Wave 3. They've been on the ball longer than the other legacy media groups down here. Other stations have their reporters that do a great job, but Wave 3's been on this train for a long time. But you're right. I have the luxury of picking what I cover, whereas legacy media, they get told what they have to cover. And I had firsthand knowledge. And ironically, I am now the deputy chief of Utica Fire to fix the mess that Jamie left it in. I have accepted the appointment of deputy chief of logistics and purchasing because they left the firehouse with no fire gear. No helmets, no medical equipment. We've got a couple trucks that we're going to have to sell because of the debt. Jamie would buy fire trucks, sit on them for a couple of years, sell them and pocket the cash. Well, now we're stuck with a ladder truck with $425,000 due on it, an engine with $325,000 that we can't afford. So He's left us in quite a lurch. I don't even live in Utica, but I'm so vested in this that I have volunteered to take that position.
Eric Holcomb's best friend. I think that says a lot. Sean Bostic of the Integrity and Accountability Facebook page. Everybody follow it. The Integrity and Accountability with Sean Bostic. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Rob.
It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon, the biggest stories in Indy. Plus, Jeff Boggs will join us, and we'll play a round of bare naked ladies or symptoms of rabies. 93 WIBC.
Tired of using your Indy summer to paint year after year? Then do what Deanna did. She called Rhino Shield.
I was noticing some cracks and the paint's faded. I was like, okay, I think I should get my house painted. So my neighbor had a Rhino Shield placard in the yard. And after they were finished, I was just, wow. With the warranty and everything, it just seemed silly not to go that route.
The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield is specifically formulated for our climate.
So the Rhino Shield crew came out. Nothing was damaged in the process. I was very happy. They just didn't leave a mess. You couldn't even tell they were there. And the house looked so different. It just looked like a new home.
Backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. And right now, you can have that protection for 10% off the regular price.
Rhino Shield, I think it increases the value and the curb appeal of your home. Definitely worth it.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
There's something timeless about radio. It's where stories are told, ideas are shared, and communities stay connected. Our generation grew up with it, and we still believe in the power of tuning in. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe planning for retirement should feel just as familiar and trusted. That's why we're bringing real conversations and practical advice to the airwaves. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. for our Retire with Purpose Radio Hour, right here on 93.1 WIBC. We'll talk about what really matters in retirement, income you can count on, choices you can feel good about, and a future that reflects your values. Because some things, like good planning and good radio, never go out of style. Howard Bailey Financial, retirement planning that speaks your language. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com. The Retire with Purpose Radio Hour is a paid placement on each airing station.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
It's Andy Moore's Summer Tent Sale in Avon. 4 days only, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. You'll find more savings, more selection, more than 1,000 used cars priced to move, plus our lowest lease deals of the summer. Shop Andy Moore, Avon, Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and Volkswagen, all packed under one tent on Rockville Road, East US Highway 36. Get more for your money, only at Andy Moore Avon and online at andymore.com.
July is here, so you know what that means. The golf outing powered by Franciscan Health is almost teeing off. Join us Thursday, August 7th at the Legends Golf Club in Franklin. Grab your crew for a day full of big swings and good times. Sign up now at 1075thefan.com.
Driving in this city sucks, and the city has been overrun by homeless people. And I got a firsthand view. I got to experience both of those things on my drive to work this morning.
Yeah, you had to go on Washington Street.
Okay, so I normally try to get off. I take 70, try to get off on 79A or B. Get off 79A. You can't move now because of all this Washington Street bus line traffic, construction. It's creating all these traffic and anything that merges into Washington Street. Again, this is the most government thing ever, where one of the great gems and attractions of the city of Indianapolis is it is a major metropolitan city that you can skedoodle in and out by automobile with relative ease.
Nope, not today.
Not anymore.
No. There was construction my entire way into work.
For a bus line.
Is that what it's for?
That nobody
Are we sure?
Well, they've been
knows?
on Washington Street for years. But yes, now the new thing is this stupid blue line. Because the red line and purple line have been so unused, they said, let's do another one where they're going to connect downtown to the airport by bus, as though people who are coming in from the airport haven't heard of Uber. Hey, you're a millionaire businessman or some high-profile athlete. Don't you want to get on our city bus? Hey, Bronny, don't you want to get on the city bus and drive and come downtown? So everything is shut down. So I could not, I get off on 79. There's just mass traffic. I said, okay, rather than sit in this, I'm going to get back on the interstate, come around 70, loop around, and get off on Washington Street. Cool, fine, no problem. Do it. Soon as I get on Washington Street, stop. And so you're crawling at a snail's pace. I'm looking at this, and it's like, you have 11 minutes to get to your destination. I'm 5 feet from my destination. What's taking 11 minutes?
Right.
And then you realize the traffic is not moving because it's all shut down because they've taken everything that was a big, giant road, and now it's bike and bus lanes. Okay, which nobody's using, by the way.
Correct.
Right? All right. So I'm stopped in front of the Lugar Plaza. For those of you who don't know, Lugar Plaza, once upon a time, named for former Senator Richard Lugar, one of the great gems of downtown Indianapolis. It is part of the Market East Cultural District, and there's buildings, and it's a little park, and it's a multi-acre property. And now it's just a homeless camp.
That's what it is.
It is overrun by homeless people. And before I hear from the sob people of, well, if someone would just offer them a hand up, there's literally a Salvation Army building right down the street.
Yeah.
Within
they could get there.
1 block.
Yes.
There's a Salvation Army building who would give them the hand up. They would help. We raise money for them every year. Jobs, clothing, shower, getting back on the. These people do not want help.
Yeah, so they call the Lugar Plaza a pivotal downtown park and the gateway to the people's government. It's a picturesque plaza, which is conveniently located. Did it look picturesque to you this morning, Rob?
There were at least 15 homeless people, and this is on the front, right? Like the gateway to the Lugar Plaza. By the way, right here on the city website, the Lugar rules, no sleeping or camping.
Yeah. Well, they just toss those rules out the window. Kind of like curfews. We're not enforcing anything, are we?
This is our city now, where this great thing, this picturesque portion of the city, named for one of our most esteemed public figures, and this is the way we treat it now. Hey, pop a squat, right? Sleeping bags.
No, they live there now. They're not just visiting. They live there now.
And I'm staring at this because I guess, I don't know if I have to go this way now. Who knows? It changes from day to day in this city because they don't notify you of anything. I have no idea what the actual backup, if it's some permanent thing, if it's a one-day lane, don't know. But this is what our city has become. Vagrants, vagabonds, bums, homeless people, drugged out zombie guys. That's in the daytime.
Yeah. So visitindy.com says that it welcomes all residents and visitors to relax. That's what they're doing. They're relaxing. They can also connect, play, learn, and exchange ideas in a safe space.
Why? It's fine, Kevin. You can cue the music. Why won't our mayor do anything about this?
Well, he was slurring and bumbling his way through a press conference recently. Talk about all the crime that happened. Should we get to that next?
Yeah, let's talk about that city county council meeting last night. That was well, I was going to say fun. What's the exact opposite of fun?
Awful.
Torture.
Yeah.
Hell on earth.
Yeah.
These people. I mean, our city, our poor city, Casey.
It's so bad that the governor had to step in. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hey, just a heads up, the Social Security Administration just announced they're now projected to run out of money 1 year earlier than expected. Your benefits could be cut by as much as 23%, and the average person could lose more than $100,000 in lifetime income. Discover how you could get every penny that's rightfully yours with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
So, if you've saved more than $200,000 but have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now. Just call 317-648-5120. This is not some off-the-shelf report. This is a customized analysis that could help you get every penny out of your Social Security. And it's free. Call Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
Looking for a cozy spot to relax, work, or grab your coffee to go? LC Coffee House in Noblesville, Indiana has you covered. Try our indulgent affogato, a sweet blend of espresso and ice cream. Or sample our coffee flights to discover your perfect brew. In a rush, our drive-thru is ready to serve you fast and fresh. Need a space to collaborate? We offer meeting rooms perfect for co-working. Whether you're grabbing a quick drink or spending the day with us, LC Coffee House is the place to be.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Fill your tank. Don't drain your wallet. Sam's Club lets you save time at the pump with Scan and Go checkout at Sam's Club fuel stations. Just scan the QR code on the pump and pay. Visit your local Sam's Club today.
History returns with the Brickyard 400 at the famed 2.5-mile oval, celebrating NASCAR's roots at the racing capital of the world. Brickyard weekend starts Thursday, July 24th with the Indiana Sprint Week race, with sprint cars running on the IMS dirt track for the first time ever. Saturday, July 26th, get ready for action with the NASCAR Xfinity Series Pennzoil 250. Then Sunday, July 27th, the NASCAR Cup Series Brickyard 400, presented by PPG, returns to the oval of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Buy now and save at IMS.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, this is Denny Smith for LD Smith Plumbing. Lance Smith joins me right now. No, we're not related, but I'd be proud to call him my son, my uncle, my cousin, whatever. Lance, welcome to the studio.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, sump pumps, they're coming up. You guys, it's probably time to get your sump pump special. You brag on this every year.
Yep, it's a real deal. Free primary sump pump with the purchase of a battery backup system. Simple as that. No hidden labor fees or anything like that. 317-927-7186 or ldsmithplumbing.com.
In 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, where state police are investigating an officer-involved shooting, but the Indy City County Council is set to discuss further about curfew hours and which counselor is deciding to step away from her caucus. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
A break from the rain in central Texas. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Still a tough job, but the weather is cooperating more with search crews going through flash flood debris since Friday looking for anyone missing. Fox's Brooke Taylor in Kerr County, Texas, says they're putting X marks on piles that have been searched.
We're surrounded by these massive piles of debris right now. Hundreds of rescuers searching for victims, trying to give families some much-needed answers. You could see trees just uprooted, and really it's jaw-dropping seeing all of this. You can't help but think of the victims who were caught in this current and swept away. Dozens are still missing.
More than 100 people are confirmed to have died. At least 14 letters have gone out announcing new tariff rates starting August 1st, 25% for imports from Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, and Tunisia, higher for the others, up to 40% for Laos and Myanmar. President Trump, during a meeting with Israel's prime minister, says Hamas wants a ceasefire to end the fighting in Gaza. Two leaders also talked about voluntarily moving Palestinians there in Gaza to other countries.
Negotiators from Israel and Hamas have been holding talks in Qatar, trying to reach a deal that includes a 60-day ceasefire and the release of 10 living hostages and 18 bodies. But ending the war in Gaza remains a major sticking point. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is adamant that Hamas cannot continue to govern Gaza. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will be heading to Doha this week to continue ceasefire discussions. It is not the only high-stakes conversation that Witkoff is set to undertake in the coming days. He also says they may hold talks with Iran soon.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. 3 crew members are reported killed, 2 wounded in an attack by Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen on a Liberian-flagged Greek-operated cargo ship in the Red Sea. This and another attack Sunday are the first known attacks on shipping by the Houthis since November. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Officers involved in the fatal shooting. Skies are sunny at 75 on Monument Circle. With a clear radar, could see some clouds this afternoon. I'm Jarrett Lewis for Moss Roofing. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A man is dead after Greenfield police shot him during a domestic situation that broke out Monday night at a home. Officers say the situation had escalated, leading to them opening fire. The man taken to a hospital where he later died. Greenfield police confirmed their officers were involved, and Indiana State Police are now leading an investigation. Days after a downtown shooting killed 2 teens and hurt 5 others, Indianapolis leaders proposed tightening up the city's youth curfew. Democratic Councilor Leroy Robinson made a proposal Monday night that would require teens ages 15 to 17 to be off the streets 2 hours earlier than state law allows, by 11 p.m. on weekends and 9 p.m. on weeknights. The Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee will review that proposal next week. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey says they must do what needs to be done to limit the violence.
I'm even more committed, and the officers are committed to go out there and doing what we can, our part, to keep it from happening again.
Bailey, a guest on WIBC's Hammer and Nigel Monday. Another Indianapolis City County councilor is back in the news.
I left the Democratic caucus of the Indianapolis Marion County City County Council. I will not be caucusing with either party for the foreseeable future, and I think that that's the best decision for me at this time.
Krista Carlino said her decision is based on a few reasons, including what she says is a lack of leadership, abuse of power, and an inequitable application of the caucus rules. She has faced criticism from others on council after she called for the resignation of Mayor Joe Hogsett and the removal of Council President Bob Bosley and Vice President Allie Brown. The Indiana Pacers will not have guard Tyrese Halliburton all of next season as he sits out and recovers from his torn Achilles. That was announced by Pacers president of basketball operations Kevin Pritchard on Monday, but he says the other players on the team are thinking about another run to the NBA Finals.
I think you get very hungry to do it again and be playing at the highest level. This community, what they did, our fans were incredible.
He says the competitive spirit of the team will be at a high level for next season. Summer League play for the Pacers starts on Thursday in Vegas as they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall Casey back in 1 minute.
Indiana summer storms are rolling in, and if you're like me, you're not climbing up on your roof to check for damage. That's why you call Moss Roofing. Family-owned. Right here in central Indiana for over 30 years, Moss Roofing gives you something hard to find these days: honest work and peace of mind. They offer free inspections, and I mean a real thorough checkup of your roof, your siding, your gutters, and your windows. If there's storm damage, they'll show you the photos, explain everything clearly and thoroughly, and even work with your insurance company for you. No stress, no pressure, just real professionals doing the job right every single time. Protect your home and avoid bigger problems later. Call Moss Roofing today, 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Family owned, Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, MOSS, mossroofing.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIPC.
Okay, so you know your city's in trouble when the guy making the most sense and the most honest guy in the lot is the avowed socialist.
Exactly. What is going on?
This city, so look, I think I have actively paid attention to Indianapolis government politics for about 15 years. I mean, I distinctly remember being aware when Ballard won, that was 07, but I'm saying like on a daily basis, like watching the city council, what they're doing, reading about it, like engaged for 15 years. It is a new level of dysfunctional, disorganized, disgraceful that I have never seen. Like during the Ballard years, our biggest problem was the cricket stadium and those blue cars that he had. Like that's what we were complaining about during the Ballard era, is he grew government a little too much, right? Boy, howdy, what we wouldn't give to have
to
that
go back to that
again, right? So Jesse Brown, I've said this numerous times, I absolutely am encouraging Jesse Brown to run for the mayor of Indianapolis in 2027. And I think he might have a viable chance to win, especially what we've seen in New York. Because what we're seeing in these cities where socialists are winning is people, they're liberal cities, they're left cities anyway, but people are so disgusted by the dishonesty and the crony capitalism and the corruption from the status quo of the Democrat Party that they say, at least we think the socialist guy is honest. And when it comes to the Indianapolis City County Council, other than Josh Bain on the Republican side, Jesse Brown is by far the most honest, direct, and truthful member of the Indianapolis City County Council. And he actually, while he has a very wacky sort of warped view of the world, we've had him on the show. He is as honest as the day is long. You ask him a question, you get a direct answer. And for about 23 of the 25 members of the City County Council, you can't say that.
How odd is it that I spent the weekend in Baltimore and was safer there than I was here in Indianapolis? The mayor of Baltimore has lowered crime by 62% in that city.
And we laid this out a little bit with Reverend Charles Harrison yesterday from the 10-Point Coalition, and Jerry and I talked about this. Crime is a want-to thing. You can stamp out crime, not completely. You're never going to totally stop it. But you can get it under control in your major metropolitan cities, and that standard varies by city, right? Crime is always going to be greater in New York City than Indianapolis. There's more people, there's more infrastructure. Right. Sure. All of these things are at play.
On scale.
Right. But relative to whatever your standard is, you can get crime under control if you want to do it. And Reverend Harrison laid out, for those of you who've been following the city of Indianapolis for years, how they did it in the 2010s. And we've talked about it before. First of all, it started with a prosecutor in the case of Carl Brizzi, who was prosecutor from 23 to 2010. And then even though the prosecutor was a Democrat that came after him, that sort of continued. For all Carl's fast and loose with many of the rules that he always towed walked right up to the line on, he was very serious about violent offenders. And that was a major part of whether it was Peterson or then Ballard dealing with violent crime. We have a guy who is not serious about violent offenders in Ryan Mears in the prosecutor's position. You had a court system that dealt with the violent offenders in a more serious manner than today, not allowing these guys back out on the streets, locking them up, not granting them bail, all of these sort of things. But it starts, and the most key part of the process is the mayor's office. He is he or she, if there is a female mayor, the chief executive of any city. And from day one, Joe Hogsett, pre-COVID, pre-riots, pre-what we've seen today, declared the city of Indianapolis open for business to violent offenders.
Yeah.
He is not a serious person, just period. He's not a serious person, period. But especially when it comes to dealing with violent offenders. And Reverend Harrison laid out how in the days of Ballard, They know who the violent offenders are. They know who the most likely people are. It's how the 10-point coalition operates. They know who these people are. They go to their homes. They talk to them on the street, and they say, we know who you are. We know what you're planning. And in the days of Ballard, they did this in coordination with the Marion County Sheriff's Office, with the Indianapolis Police Department. They would literally go to these people and go, hey, Black Expos this weekend. To steal a line from Animal House. If I were you, I'd be leaving. What a great idea. We're going to be watching you. We know what your propensity is, and if you try it, you're going to prison. And they were, for many years, able to keep that homicide number around or below the 100-person mark, which is still a lot of people, but it's a hell of a lot better than 200 plus, which is what we get almost every single year now.
And now you've got the governor weighing in on everything. He says the Indianapolis mayor and prosecutor must do their part to protect the city, and that means taking swift action to address the criminal activity. But, I mean, this is a top-down problem, because you've got the mayor, and then you've got the council and the president and the vice president. People are calling on them to resign. And now you've got one of the counselors leaving her caucus as well.
Let's talk about...
which direction do you want to go with this?
Are you a fan of The Office?
Yeah.
There's an episode where Michael, the main character, Steve Carell, talks about how his, at the time, live-in girlfriend, Jan, keeps changing her mind on whether she wants to have kids. And so he keeps getting and ungetting the vasectomies. And he starts going, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. That is this Krista Carlino chick on the city council. Can you imagine trying to make dinner reservations with her?
She's like, you're bad. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're still bad.
Where would you like to eat? And then it turns into a 90-minute conversation of this woman changing her mind because she's done she didn't do the right thing, which is call for Hogsett's resignation, and for Bob Osley and Allie Brown, the president and vice president of the council, to resign. She does call for Hogsett's resignation, finally, calls for them to step down, then uncalls for that, then apologizes, then says, no, I wasn't apologizing about the resignations, but about the process, then gets kicked out of the Democrat caucus, then after apology goes back into the caucus, then they won't be honest whether she was kicked out of the caucus or not, and then yesterday finally comes out and says, I'm leaving the Democrat caucus.
Yep, she said, I made the decision to leave the caucus of the council after continued lack of leadership and accountability, abuse of power, and unfair applications of our caucus rules for membership. I can no longer in good conscience remain a member. How long is this going to stay?
So
she's sticking with this?
Enter into the scene Democrat socialist Jesse Brown, who has himself been kicked out of the Democrat caucus. And he said, I'm going to tell everyone it's time to put up or shut up, and I'm going to make an amendment,
Introduced a motion,
to remove Osley and Brown from their position. When you factor in the crime, when you factor in the street chaos, when you factor in every year how bad the snow removal is, when you factor in the condition of the roads, when you factor in the Lauren Roberts stuff and the Thomas Carl Cook saga and how they handled that, Jesse Brown said, collectively, couldn't we agree these people should not be running our city? And only 3 other people out of the 25 joined with him in saying that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, the vote was 20 no votes, 4 yes votes. The yes votes, Josh Bain, Jesse Brown, the guy who introduced the motion, Krista Carlino, the one who just quit the caucus, and Michael Paul Hart. Shocker!
Let's give Michael Paul Hart some credit. He finally found his ballular area and I guess got tired enough of being ripped on. He is the Republican leader, the high loon of the 6 Republicans that exist on the city county council. And though he has still refused to call for Hogsett to resign, he finally did at least say that he does not think the meetings are being run in an effective or productive fashion. The city's not being governed in a productive or orderly fashion, and did call for those 2 to step down. So good on him for that. Now, what's interesting is I was told there were 20. You mentioned 20 to 4. That means somebody missed the meeting. I was told that was Paul Anee. He is the He's a Republican who runs the Marion County Fairgrounds, which gets a whole bunch of money from the city of Indianapolis. And so my question to Paul Anee was, where were you last night? For all this money you get paid to be a city county councilor, what were you doing? If indeed you were the one, has been reported, who was not at the meeting. Now, numerous people have reported that. I assume that's accurate. Where were you?
But then doesn't that still leave us with one other Republican?
Well, that leaves us with 3 other Republicans, Mowry, Dilk, and then there's one other underachiever that I'm not thinking of. And they apparently all voted for the status quo.
Correct. So what was their thinking? They looked around and said, no, this is all good. Things are wonderful.
Great question, Casey. Why is this acceptable? And how compromised are you guys that when the free Cahill, thank you, Stephen, as usual, Indie Reporter there to save the show. By the way, did you see Indie Reporter is up to 3,900 followers?
Is he?
The Kendall and Casey show, as we said, has been the boom that the Indie Reporter account needed. Everyone should follow if you want real-time reporting on the city of Indianapolis, on what's going on, as well as Indiana state government, at Indie_Reporter_. The best account going on social media right now. But the point of all this is, how compromised are these 3, and what is that you're saying? Not only we're not calling on Hogsett to resign, but these 2, the goof troop, should be still leading the show in terms of Osley and Allie Brown.
Yes, they're looking around. They're like the meme, right? The dumpster fire. The dumpster that's on fire. Everything's fine here. No worries.
This is our capital city. It is supposed to be the driver of the entire state of Indiana. What happens here is supposed to be a catalyst for the rest of the state. And look at the representation from both parties. Look at how we are being what we are being told is acceptable behavior and acceptable governance. Look at what we're putting on display for an entire nation. I mean, the violence in the city made national news over the weekend. And even our Republicans are like, this is fine. It's all okay.
Okay, so they're proposing some curfew hours for minors in Marion County.
So this got approved, right? They voted on this. This was approved.
It heads to the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee on Wednesday, July 16th. And then, if it's approved, it will return for a full council final vote in August.
So there was an
approval. So just sit tight, okay?
There was an approval to send to the committee. No, but the curfew is in effect, though. Like there is a curfew.
There's been a curfew since last year.
So that's in effect. So now there's going to be a new curfew. See, this is the most right.
With no fines attached.
Stephen, am I understanding this correct? That there's a curfew that was in place that Hogsett admitted yesterday he's not been enforcing. He's going to enforce that. And instead of just seeing how that works, now they're going to do a curfew on top of the curfew that they weren't enforcing.
Changing the hours of the curfew.
But if you'd have just enforced the curfew that you had placed, we're not enforcing the first one. But now this is exactly like how they always do immigration. Or like we need immigration reform. No, you just need to enforce the laws. No, we need new immigration reform. No, just enforce the laws. No, we need these new laws. But what about the laws you weren't enforcing? Yeah, we need new laws on top of that. Just enforce the laws and see how that goes.
But what is the repercussion? There's no consequence for it. You're going to be detained for a minute and then...
Yes, your parents who won't parent are going to be inconvenienced.
Yeah.
And therein lies the problem. It starts and ends in the home front.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Now, the idea of Uber goes against everything we were taught as kids, though.
What's that?
Never get into a car with a stranger.
But there's betting.
Now we pay for it. We're literally paying the stranger to take us somewhere.
But at least there's some sort of vetting. You know the name of the person that's coming.
So you'll know your kidnapper. It's like having an alarm on your car. Great, I can hear it being stolen.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC.
Nigel here. Don't live. Get your life back with testosterone therapy at Low T Center. Take the test, get fast results, and start TRT with Indianapolis' leading experts in men's health.
Now it's easier than ever with the new Synergen X Health app, an innovation in healthcare technology you won't find anywhere else. Download right now or book an appointment while the test is still free at fixmylowt.com. fixmylowt.com.
This is our idea is ready to launch vision. This is the create great jobs vision. This is the we need more space vision. This is Busey, where your business visions become realizations through securing capital for growth and comprehensive strategies that ensure a prosperous future. Because thriving businesses mean thriving people and thriving communities. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right.
Okay.
Right. You deal with, there's an old saying, game knows game, that makes them have a propensity to do this. And there are some success stories, right? There are people, and we should give people every willing. Why are we willing, despite data telling us who these people are and how they behave and their likelihood of
death row inmate. He was convicted in 2007.
Okay, so let's give a backstory on this about why we think this thing got rushed forward. So, our old pal, the result of that, it's about $500,000. Todd Rokita has forced taxpayers to pay for the deal that he had signed. An attorney comes out and was like, wait a second. The governor just came out and was like, we got to revisit the whole death penalty because we're spending all this money on these drugs. They don't have a long shelf life. We need to see how we need to revamp the death penalty, if we need to have the death penalty at all. I thought we were going to have a conversation about the death penalty, and here you are, Rokita, like, set the date for this guy.
Yeah, move along.
So now Braun, who had just come out and was like, well, these drugs cost too much money, and we need to revisit the death penalty. And the Supreme Court set the date, the tentative date, for October 10. Now, they were pretty clear in this that they think that, without saying it, now it comes out and Braun is like, well, I guess we got to review. I guess I'll get more of the drugs, after he just said he wanted to review the whole thing.
Yeah, $1.175 million spent on the lethal injection drugs over the past year. 600,000 of it on expired doses. So the shelf is empty, right? So we got to buy more.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the third one since December of 24 after a 15-year hiatus.
All right, let's take a break.
Okay, it is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in a parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box, or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
You're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Rescue efforts picking up. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending now at 10:30. Texas Congressman August Plouffer confirming his two daughters were among those rescued from a girls' Christian summer camp near Hunt, Texas, during the major flooding in the region over this past weekend. The Republican lawmaker praising Texas emergency teams and crews for their work in helping rescue his girls.
The fear that was going on in the camp from the campers, and we've now learned that through talking to my daughters, and so many that were along the river. It's unimaginable what they had to go through.
More than 100 people have been killed in the deadly floods throughout Texas. New York City Democratic mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani, in an interview with MSNBC last year, said that he would arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he ever visited the city, citing an international criminal court arrest warrant on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity. The mayoral candidate saying New York City's values are in line with international law, adding their action should reflect that. Incumbent Mayor Eric Adams, however, telling Fox Business's Mornings with Maria that Prime Minister Netanyahu is welcome in the city.
When you send a message like that as a primary winner, you're sending a message to the international community. So this is an important city, and we need to be focusing on how do we govern this city. And that's what we're going to do.
Mamdani has said Israel has a right to exist like all nations. Adams is running as an independent in the upcoming election. Meanwhile, Netanyahu met with President Trump at the White House yesterday. Top Trump administration officials are announcing the rollout of a new initiative from the Department of Agriculture to protect American farmland. The National Farm Security Action Plan aims to safeguard U.S. agriculture from foreign countries like China, whose investors own hundreds of thousands of acres of land across the country. Chinese entity ownership of American farmland has been a hot-button issue in recent years. And Sean Diddy Combs is remaining in custody, awaiting sentencing after being partially acquitted on federal charges. Speculation surrounds the potential length of his sentence, with estimates ranging from 2.5 to 3.5 years. Despite beating the RICO charge, Combs could face up to 20 years in prison for the counts he was convicted of. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. And what a deal right now with Universal Windows Direct. If you've been thinking about upgrading the windows in your home, now is the time to strike. Because not only do they have a great deal, you pick, you choose, you're in charge. Listen to your two choices right now this month with Universal Windows Direct. You can choose for payments as low as $99 a month. That's right. Imagine having new, beautiful windows in your home, and it's costing you $99 a month. What a deal, right? Or you can choose 12 months with no payments and no interest. So even better. Can you imagine having new, beautiful windows in your home and no payments and no interest? Now, schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation in-home consultation today. Some restrictions may apply, so to get all the information, call today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574, or check it all out on the web. See their work for yourself. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Early bird special, only $49.99 guaranteed. No no irritability, no cravings, because don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m., stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now's the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Together, we can provide 1 billion meals by 2030, because everyone should be welcome at the table. Learn more at nourishingneighbors.com.
I cannot stress this enough.
Okay. What?
If you keep being subservient to these politicians who hate you, they will keep abusing you.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I don't know how more obvious that we can make this. I do not know. And I had a little back and forth with somebody yesterday about this, and you are just dying to have this conversation.
I wouldn't say I'm dying to have it, but you had said that you wanted to mention it.
Well, it's okay. So somebody who I think very highly of, who's been a very rock-solid conservative person and movement leader in the conservative movement,
Mm-hmm.
she posts a picture of herself going to 4th of July. And she's wearing a Braun Beckwith shirt.
Yeah.
And this is a person who, rightfully so, was outraged about what happened with property taxes and the tax increases and all this stuff. And I'm just looking at this. This is, by the way, this is one of the people who went to the meeting, I think, with Braun at the governor's mansion that you and I were excluded from.
Sure, we weren't invited.
Where he claimed to have the ace up his sleeve.
Right.
And he's got all these next steps for property taxes.
Sure. What are the?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
They've not been.
I thought
revealed
maybe
yet.
I missed something.
It's like Nixon.
He didn't release that over the weekend.
Case. It's like
Independence Day. You're independent from property taxes. No.
Like Nixon in Vietnam. He's got a plan. He can't reveal the plan too early.
It's top secret.
Of course, he had, an entire year to reveal the plan.
You need special security clearance. Clearance is currency.
So I just commented on her thing, her little dealio post, whatever. I said, and I'll here's exactly what I said. I said, I'm floored you're still supporting these two after they lied right to your face over and over. All they did was raise your taxes and grow government. Why would you possibly still be behind them? And she responds to something about like, well, I'm going to stay in the fight. I'm going to this. I'm going to that.
Willing to roll up her sleeves and continue to work.
Lady, and I know she listens, and I love her, but I said, you are being used. They are playing you. They do not. The lieutenant governor's now entire day consists of photo ops at the Pizza King and the Subway. He has no authority. He is seen as the town goof inside the State House. Everybody thinks he's a complete joke. Braun knows what a bumbling, incompetent buffoon he is, which is why he took everything from him.
Yeah.
Including ag, and as we laid out yesterday, now okra. He has them in name. He has no actual power.
So what does he do all day?
I don't know. This is my question. By the way, you pointed out I was too nice to him yesterday.
Were you?
Well, I said he has an office budget of like $2 million, and you were like, no, it's way higher than $2 million.
It's more like 3.5.
So we as taxpayers are paying the local town bumbling goof $3.5 million for an office of people who do what? He has no responsibility anymore. Like we have to have him. Constitutionally, you have to have the lieutenant governor.
Sure.
So why don't they just come out and say, you have proven yourself to be such an unserious goof that we had to take everything from you. And as a result of that, you have to exist so you can just wander the State House each day.
Right.
And if we need you to break a tie in the Senate, you show up. And if heaven forbid something happens to Braun, you're in charge.
Right. So what, we're paying him to campaign?
Yes. He jumps out of airplanes. He goes to Pizza King. He goes to candy stores. He does drum solos in music stores. That's it.
Yeah. Like I said, I think his office would be really good if they were in charge of tourism.
Yeah, but they can't give him anything because he's unserious. He's preparing for his media career, after his time in public office, which he now and everybody around him knows will be one term. He couldn't get elected dog catcher at this point. So my question is, though, to this lady, let's remove bobblehead from the equation.
Okay.
Braun screwed you so many times, right? So many instances. He screwed you on property taxes. He raised taxes to fund the state budget. He's raising the tolls. The utilities are going to go up because of this guy. It wasn't like this was one area where Braun failed. At every single instance, you the taxpayer, you the citizen got hosed. This is who he is, because this is exactly what he did when he was a state rep.
It's like you keep thinking, this time will be different. This time it's going to change. You know what? You mentioned the tolls, something that I wanted to bring to your attention. You know, I did the gas tracker when I drove.
Oh, yes.
When I drove to the East Coast while I was away. So what's the price of gas here in Indiana? About $3.27?
Well, it's gone down since it was when we were doing our little comparison.
Okay.
Yes.
When I left town, it was $3.27.
Yes.
In Ohio, it was $2.41.
Yes. My buddy Bart sent me photos from the Ohio border where there were lines around the pumps.
That explains why. In Pennsylvania, it was $3.14. In Virginia, you'd think it's going to be more expensive there, right? Nope, it's still lower, $3.21. In Maryland, it was $3.19. The one exception where gas, it was dark and night time, so I don't know what it was in West Virginia. But the one exception that I noticed...
Wait, what do you mean? Where all the signs dark? They don't light up?
I
mean, it is West Virginia, so I don't even know if they have power in West Virginia.
I wasn't paying attention. It was the mountains. It was nighttime.
You were sleeping.
I was okay.
Thank you. Honesty is the best policy.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. So the one exception to the lower gas price that I found was on the Pennsylvania toll road.
Oh.
That's where it was higher.
Yeah, it always is, because you're stuck.
Well, right, and there's fewer places to stop.
Right. You got to get it if you need it.
Guess what's coming to Indiana?
Yes, thank you. Very good, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I did want to point out, too, in this we had a very nice back and forth, and I think this woman is being ridiculously naive, and if she wants to waste her own time. The problem is when you support these people, you feed the beast. You feed the bad behavior. How many times do they have to screw you before that's it? I'm done. Stop walking in the parades. Stop going to the events. Stop putting the T-shirts on. Stop shaking these people's hands. Stop doing photos with them. Just stop. They do not like you. They use you. You are a pawn. Stop being a pawn. Stand up for yourself, Poindexter. I did want to point out, though, that at one point during we were just having a nice little back and forth, and then Micah's overpaid data guy. Did you know he has a guy? This guy, Omar, is his name. We don't know what he does. He's listed as research director. Research of what? Micah has no responsibilities anymore. He gave them all away. That was the deal. Braun told him, we're taking all your stuff because you're a buffoon and can't be trusted. I'm going to take your stuff, and then you and your friends can have your positions over here, and we'll leave you alone if you're a good boy. And what do you know? Midway through session, what happened? Micah shut up and started being team cheerleader. But what does Omar research? What is there to research? Don't know. Omar makes $80,000 a year, according to the state transparency portal. Omar decides he's going to pop in here and flap his big fat gums, unprompted, not mentioning him, no nothing. And he starts in with this thing. We still love you, Rob, even though you apparently hate us and everything we do and are trying to do.
What are they trying to do?
Makes me sad. Great question,
What
Case.
are they trying to do? What is their goal? If the agencies are being taken away from them, what is the direction?
So I asked the logical question, which is what's he listed as? Research director. Here was my question. Omar.
Oh, no.
Now,
he's talking directly to you.
In fairness, I have made it very clear to Micah and his friends that at any time one of your buddies gets passive-aggressive lippy with me, Micah's going to get ripped on this radio station.
Okay.
I've made that very clear to them.
Okay.
Don't start none, won't be none. But if you're going to bring it, they should know by now this is the wrong guy to do this with.
This is more than just his friend. This is somebody who is on his staff.
We're paying.
Who is being paid by the taxpayers.
I said, Omar, How'd you miss Micah palling around and accepting gifts from a known felon whose my case reads like a CVS receipt? Aren't you the data and research guy? What are we paying you for? Or did Micah not tell you?
Okay.
His response to that. Now, anybody who knows Omar knows he's the loudest guy in any room, and he takes great pride in that. So I thought there'd be some robust response about how the research guy
would know who Mike is going to the Pacers game with.
A very high-profile known felon, which we laid out. Here was his response.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better, you can continue to hate on me.
He didn't want to address that at all.
Notice they never want to explain how the lieutenant governor ended up accepting a valuable gift from a known felon who went down in a very high-profile public bribery case, and his redemption story afterwards, if you look him up in my case, reads like a CVS receipt. Notice Micah's office never wants to explain how Micah ended up at the NBA Finals with a high-profile known felon.
So, as much as we pick on...
How about that, Omar? Run your mouth next time, Omar. Keep doing it. Omar, Stu, all of you guys, keep it up.
As much as we pick on the governor and the Secretary of State, you never see their staff commenting on social media.
No, you don't. Because the people running the show won't tolerate it. I'm not screwing around. You guys, that office, Micah, the biggest bunch of liars and backstabbers and deceivers and colossal failures.
I would take one exception to that.
Well, I think your husband's an innocent victim in all of it. I think he's the one guy who's been honest about it. And I think he's tried his best to stop the insanity. I think he's the one guy who speaks up, and I don't think they want any part of it because it's good time Charlie's I hit the lottery fun game over there at the taxpayer's expense. If somebody can tell me what Micah does all day, if somebody can tell me what Micah's day-to-day responsibilities are now, what he oversees, and what he actually does for the $3.5 million or whatever the office budget is, other than go to Pizza King and Subway and the candy store and do the drum solos at the music store, or jump out of airplanes, let me know what he does for me, because I don't see it.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, judge shopping to stop law from becoming law. It's just an average day in America. After the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Housing discrimination because of race, color, or national origin is against the law. If you believe you've experienced housing discrimination, contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing.
Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
You know, sometimes dealing with home service contractors can be frustrating, whether it's missed appointments, sloppy workmanship, or just a general sense of indifference about helping you. Frustrating hardly describes that experience, Hammer.
And that's why we want to welcome a new advertiser to the Hammer and Nigel family, somebody you're going to be hearing quite a bit about in the coming months, Victor's Home Solutions.
Victor's installs the highest quality roofs available for your home, and they take all those negative stereotypes and turn them on their head.
They start with the basics, prompt, follow-up, showing up to appointments on time. And then they go above and beyond with installation teams that are so skilled, so precise, that Victor's is able to offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install.
5-star customer service and perfect installation. You're going to be really impressed with Victor's. They're the only roofer Hammer and I recommend to our listeners. It all starts with a free 21-point roof inspection. Call 1-866-VICTORS or victors.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
It's Andy Moore's Summer Tent Sale in Avon. 4 days only, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. You'll find more savings, more selection, more than 1,000 used cars priced to move, plus our lowest lease deals of the summer. Shop Andy Moore Avon Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and Volkswagen, all packed under one tent on Rockville Road, East US Highway 36. Get more for your money, only at Andy Moore Avon and online at andymore.com.
Summers in Indy are great, but don't spend it painting. Do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint. And the crew?
Painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house, and all the pillars and everything. And once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
With Rhino Shield's 25-year transferable warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again. And right now, you can get 10% off the regular price.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield. It's really a great product, and if you don't want to paint the house, that would be the way to go.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino!
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
City Water or well water, this summer save up to 30% on select water treatment products with the purchase of any softener. Pure fresh water, C&J 317-733-SOFT.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Listen to Hammer and Nigel all this week for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Bare Naked Ladies with Sugar Ray and Fastball, Sunday, July 20th at Everwise Amphitheater.
More info online at WIBC.com.
All right, so you want to talk about the death penalty here.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
This is your wheelhouse.
Jason Hammer, hello. How you guys doing? Welcome back. Casey, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I
see you.
Fantastic. You look tan.
Oh, yeah, and you look great, too. Kept all your fingers and toes. I'm proud of you.
Eyebrows still intact.
Right.
No Axl Rose here, baby. All right, so I was driving in listening to your program. Maybe I misinterpreted this, but it sounded like you guys were upset that this scumbag is about to meet his maker on death row.
No. I'm upset that Rokita did it because he got bad publicity, and so he flipped the switch on demanding this execution date. I mean, it was the day of that story coming out. The day that story comes out, magically, now I'm demanding this guy's execution date. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Like, what? But, okay, let's just say that may be the case. Why is it still a bad thing? This guy's been out of appeals for a long time.
No, I'm not mad this guy's getting executed. I'm mad at the hypocrisy of these people, like where it takes what you get bad news before he's like, well, we got to deflect. Hey, have the Supreme Court set an execution date for this guy.
Well, I hope there's more bad news because there's another person on death row that's out of appeals, that's been out of appeals for a long time.
Maybe they can get a BOGO when they buy the drugs, right?
Maybe.
And I'm taking the angle I always take with things, which is exposing the disingenuous, hypocritical behavior of these people. And I'm not going to let how much money Rokita's wasted because he can't keep his big yapper shut fall off the news just because he wants to spin the cycle into pay attention to this guy getting executed.
Okay, I, on the other hand, look at this as this should have happened a long time ago, and I don't really care if Todd Rokita was, doing this to cover something up or not. This guy has been out of appeals for a long time.
So you don't care what the reason is, just get it done.
This guy should have already been burning in hell. And what he did to that little girl, and that's what this guy did, knocked on the door, waited for the parents to leave, knocked on the door, said, I'm missing my dog. Can I come in? got into the house, did unspeakable things to a young lady, raped her, murdered her, killed her. He's been out, and I can't stress this enough. I'm all for the appeals process. That's fine. He's been out of all of his appeals for a long time. So I don't care if Todd Rokita was getting ready to go visit the Supreme Court. I'm fine with this guy meeting his maker.
It shouldn't take that.
It shouldn't, but I'm not mad that it happened, is what I'm saying.
And my issue with Braun is, and he was a little more clear on your show, but I think I don't think he recognizes, and he does this quite a bit, where he talks in circles and you ask him what time it is and he'll tell you how to make a watch, what his actual view is on the death penalty. Because I think a lot of people think he's a little squeamish on it.
Well, he said that he was agnostic towards it.
So what he told us on our show, and I think it's been misinterpreted by a couple different news networks, unless he told them something different, but what he told us was that he will continue to do what the law is in Indiana. If there is an execution, he will order the drug. But at the same time, he's open to listening to other ideas. And I brought forth the idea of, there are cheaper ways to do this.
Right.
South Carolina's got the firing squad. Alabama's got a new way of doing things. He's like, I'm open to it. Have the lawmakers work on this. Talk about it in the session. If they want to bring something for it, I'm open to it. But at no point did he say he was not going to get the drugs if there was going to be an execution.
But again, when the guy talks in circles, and the quote that they played, I mean, look, I feel like we're supporters of the death penalty, and we're pretty astute. We read the same quotes thinking that was published in these media at the time, thinking he's getting squeamish on. Just say it. Why doesn't he just say, hey, this is getting too expensive. Let's shoot these guys instead. That's pretty direct, right?
That's kind of what I told him.
Exactly.
And he was open to that idea. But I think it got somehow misconstrued in the media that he's thinking about doing away with the death penalty. I don't really think that's the case at all. I think he's open to other ways to think about this. And because the previous governor was such a moron and bought a bunch of these lethal cocktail mixes
and then didn't use them.
They only have a 90-day shelf life.
So is he saying, because Holcomb made everybody believe that he had to buy them in bulk because they couldn't get them?
Holcomb's an idiot. That's a complete lie. He bought them in bulk because he's a moron.
Okay, so they can get them whenever they want.
It's tough, but they can, yes. It's not like you can just call up, hey, I need this by tomorrow. There's a process, but so far, so good.
It's hard to believe that some guy with Jamie Null as his best friend would lie about something or mislead the public. What's coming up this afternoon?
FOP President Rick Snyder. Nice. He's had a couple days to let all this stuff sink in. He wants to react to the council meeting last night with this curfew stuff.
Yeah.
He's going to be fired up. Jeff Boggs will join us, and we've got tickets to give away for Bare Naked Ladies. We're going to play Bare Naked Ladies or Symptoms of Rabies.
Thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. We love the Life Church Eagle Creek location, and one of the great things about Life Church is wherever you're at in central Indiana, they've got a location that's probably right near you. Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, Pendleton. Life Church is warm, they're welcoming. They would love the opportunity this summer to meet and welcome you and their family, show you what they're all about. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain, and you can see it all for yourself. If you want to try it out, you never even have to leave the comfort of your own home. Great online services. It's all online, lifechurchin.com.
Fill your tank. Don't drain your wallet. Sam's Club lets you save time at the pump with Scan and Go checkout at Sam's Club fuel stations. Just scan the QR code on the pump and pay. Visit your local Sam's Club today.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Trust employee owned. B-Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to be.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, a fatal shooting under investigation involving officers in Greenfield. How IMPD is further reacting to Saturday's mass shooting downtown. What one city county councilor is deciding to do this week. And the status of Fever Guard Caitlin Clark before tomorrow's game with Golden State. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
105 dead in Texas. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News search efforts continue there 5 days after flash floods hit central Texas, where dozens are missing, including 10 campers and a counselor from Camp Mystic, a Christian sleepaway camp where Texas Congressman August Pfluger's daughters were rescued, and at least 27 people died.
The fear that was going on in the camp from the campers, and we've now learned that through talking to my daughters, and so many that were along the river. It's unimaginable what they had to go through.
Congressman Pfluger on Fox. The Internal Revenue Service in a court filing says churches now can endorse political candidates without risking their tax-exempt status. That undoes a 70-year-old ban. The filing is part of a lawsuit settlement with 2 churches and a Christian broadcasting network in Texas. The Trump administration announces the National Farm Security Action Plan, a multi-agency effort to protect American farmland, food supply, and research from Chinese and other adversaries' control and influence.
American agriculture is not just about feeding our families, but about protecting our nation and standing up to foreign adversaries who are buying our farmland, stealing our research, and creating dangerous vulnerabilities in the very systems that sustain us.
That's Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins. President Trump meets with his cabinet this hour.
Following a dinner last night with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the 2 leaders celebrated the strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. President Trump revealing talks with Iran should take place within the next week or so. But the U.S.-backed ceasefire proposal with Hamas and what government looks like in post-war Gaza took center stage at this dinner last night. Netanyahu somewhat demurred on the idea of a 2-state solution, but he did say Palestinians should have all the power to govern themselves so long as none of those powers threaten Israel. Finally, the president also announced weapons shipments to Ukraine will resume after the Pentagon suspended shipments last week, citing a review to ensure U.S. military readiness.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
A fatal shooting involving officers. It's sunny and 78 in the Circle City. Highs today in the mid to upper 80s. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Greenfield police say a man is dead after officers opened fire when a domestic situation escalated. Police were at a home late last night when the shooting happened. No officers were injured. State police are now leading the investigation there. Police believe it could be difficult trying to hold parents responsible for violent actions committed by their kids. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey tells WIBC's Hammer Nigel that he and other officers will try to identify a case to at least do a test run on.
Is there other substantiating evidence that the parent would have known they were armed or provided the weapon to them? Did they know they were going downtown with the weapon? Did they know they were going to be out after curfew?
A mass shooting on Saturday left 2 people dead, at least 5 others injured. Now, 4 young people are facing charges, and a curfew has been put in place for young people who are downtown. While speaking to reporters at the Indianapolis City County Council meeting Monday night, Councilor Krista Carlino announced why she will not be caucusing with either party for the foreseeable future.
For me, lack of leadership, abuse of power, and an inequitable application of the caucus rules really led me to make this decision, and I feel that I'm justified in stepping away for that reason.
Also happening on Monday at the council meeting, a vote on a motion to remove Council President Bob Osley and Vice President Allie Brown from their leadership roles, something Carlino had taken some heat for, along with a call for Mayor Joe Hogsett to resign. The vote failed, however, with just 4 council members in total seeking their removal. The state of Indiana will be expanding school choice, making vouchers available to nearly every family. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Betsy Wiley, who leads the Institute for Quality Education, says Indiana is fortunate to offer families so many school choice options.
But it also gets confusing, right, for families to navigate.
She says families can send their child to a public school outside their home district at no cost.
Oftentimes, you have to figure out your own transportation. Some school districts provide that. You can also go to a charter school, which are free and open to all kids.
If you choose a private school, you may get a state-funded voucher to help pay for it. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC, Mobile News.
Fever guard Caitlin Clark questionable for Wednesday's game between the Fever and the Golden State Valkyries, although she did return to practice, went through 5-on-5 drills for the first time in a couple of weeks on Monday. Head coach Stephanie White eager to have Clark work alongside Ari McDonald.
I think it can give her a break. I think we can get her and our team different looks when that happens.
Indiana is 9-9 so far in the season, hoping to get back above 500. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Indiana summer storms are rolling in, and if you're like me, you're not climbing up on your roof to check for damage. That's why you call Moss Roofing. Family-owned. Right here in central Indiana for over 30 years, Moss Roofing gives you something hard to find these days. Honest work and peace of mind. They offer free inspections, and I mean a real thorough checkup of your roof, your siding, your gutters, and your windows. If there's storm damage, they'll show you the photos, explain everything clearly and thoroughly, and even work with your insurance company for you. No stress, no pressure, just real professionals doing the job right every single time. Protect your home and avoid bigger problems later. Call Moss Roofing today. 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Family owned, Moss Roofing. 747-3665 or online at Moss. M-O-S-S. MossRoofing.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
All right, coming up next segment, we got a big guest, Casey. You know, it is summertime in the city of Indianapolis, and despite all the faults of the city, one thing that remains one of the major economic drivers of the city is the Indianapolis Indians and Victory Field. And one thing that no matter how bad things get or whatever, you can always count on a great family environment at Victory Field. And, you know, hundreds of thousands of people every year flood into Victory Field. It's still probably the premier ballpark, minor league ballpark in America. Bruce Schumacher, who is the chairman of the board for the Indians, is going to join us next segment. He's been there forever, and he has been a major reason that franchise has evolved from, while the legendary, a bit run down and in a not so great neighborhood, Busch Stadium, to the premier, awesome, beautiful thing we see today in Victory Field. And so we'll talk with him about a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, I saw a few people posting pictures on 4th of July at Victory Field with the fireworks and everything, saying that they had a nice time.
And one of the things that'll be interesting to talk to him about is we have seen a lot of drama, obviously, with the Indy 11, and now we're seeing potential drama with, like, the Indy Fuel and this potential Major League Hockey team looking at Indianapolis. How do the Indians have such stability, right? There's just baseball. There's never any drama. I don't think they asked for money from the city. Victory Field, I believe, was built with all their own money. Like, how have they been able to run such a stable pro sports franchise? And so that'll be interesting to talk with him coming up next.
Yeah. So the Israeli prime minister has told Donald Trump that he has recommended him for the Nobel Peace Prize, something that Donald Trump covets very much. Here's what it sounded like.
The president has already realized great opportunities. He forged the Abraham Accords. He's forging peace as we speak in one country and one region after the other. So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well-deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much. Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
I didn't know.
Remember, like, those videos of Stalin or Saddam Hussein and, like, the Politburo or whatever that group was, the Ba'ath Party would present them with some sort of award, and they would act all surprised. All of this for me? You shouldn't have. Well, sir, if we hadn't, we'd have lost our hands, right? That's what that kind of reminds me of. And it's what's funny, you alluded to this. We always joke on this program about me and the Sagamore, the Wabash, right? We have, for years, had fun with that. The reality is, I know I'm never getting one.
Probably not from the current governor.
Or the one that comes after, or whatever. And we have fun with it. He literally, you're right, Trump covets this Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
It's like actual something that what we joke about, he sits around on a daily basis and obsesses over it.
Yeah. You got to wonder, though, if Netanyahu is like, bomb Iran, bomb Iran, bomb Iran. Okay. But you better nominate me for the Nobel Peace Prize.
But didn't somebody else nominate for him for the Nobel Peace Prize?
He's been nominated a few times. The U.S. House of Representatives, 2 Norwegian lawmakers, and also a Swedish lawmaker have nominated Trump in the past.
How is the bombs, the Peace Prize?
Right? Exactly.
I don't know.
He's trying to end war.
I don't know.
By bombing another country, destroying their...
Why does he want the award so bad, though? Is it because Obama got it? That has to be it.
You think that's it?
Obama got it, and he can't stand that Obama got it. That has to be it.
Jimmy Carter was honored as well.
One of the things we were talking with our boss, David Wood, earlier, and he hit on a great point. One of the issues with Trump, and it's actually a pretty serious issue, and I think this time around, world leaders are starting to figure this out, which is the placating and the humoring can have actual, like, real-world implications that if you just tell him how great he is, he'll basically do what you want if you say it in the right way. And with you alluding to the fact of, I think there's a lot of merit to the idea of, was the Iranian stuff about this? We've seen it several times where he'll do what countries want if the leader says the right, nice things about him.
This was the button to push for Trump. So the committee, they have 5 members, and they're appointed by Norway's parliament, and judges don't always have to reveal who the nominees are, and they can't discuss how they deliberate on who will win it for 50 years.
But why does he want it so bad? It's like we laugh about the Sagamore thing. It's a complete... Now, it used to be a very prestigious award. I know someone who spent decades at the Department of Corrections and was a legendary soccer coach who got one when Pence was governor, in the early days of Pence being governor, before Pence started handing them out like candy. And it was a very prestigious award. And when I saw that person got the award, I said, that's perfect. That is the exact sort of person who gave their entire life to the state and to the community, and that's the people that it should be bestowed upon. But since then, they've started handing out to political cronies. Look at all the people Pence gave it to at the end. Holcomb.
Donors.
It's just a political giveaway. They have diluted what it meant to people like that who deserved the award, who received the award. And with the Nobel Peace Prize, so it's like, to me, we joke about it, it doesn't mean anything anymore. All of these, Raju's gotten it twice, the Sagamore.
Twice?
That's what Whitmer, is that right? Stephen Whitmer from Indie Reporter.
I know he's gotten it once.
I think he's gotten it twice.
Like, so exceptional, we have to do it again.
That's what I was told. But it wouldn't matter if he got it once. For what? For what? On these politicians. I remember when Jim Merritt got one when he was a senator. And I remember
he was probably really proud.
Well, he was, but I told him at the time, I said, when we were doing State House Happenings, I said, Jim, you're a senator. You shouldn't be getting a Sagamore. Your paid job is to serve the public. That's ridiculous that politicians are getting this award that's supposed to go to people who go above and beyond for their community because of love of community or love of state or sense of service. You guys are getting paid $70,000 a year or whatever the number was at the time. That's your thanks.
That's your prize, a paycheck.
So with with this Nobel Prize, why? Why do you want it so bad? Look at the people who have gotten it. There's so many people who have, the last people that should be getting related to peace. Nobody bombed more people than Obama, and he got it.
Yeah. I guess it's just like somebody saying on paper, yes, we like what you're doing. So eligible nominators.
Whitmer said yes. Raj, you got it twice.
He did get it twice.
Yes.
Yeah. So You're not allowed to self-nominate, by the way.
2015 for Pence and 2017 from Holcomb, said Indy reporter. All right, we gotta take a break because we got to. I know we got more Trump stuff to get to, but we got a really cool segment coming up. We're going to talk about the Indianapolis Indians, their history in this city, but the impact that Victory Field has, about what a stable, no drama franchise the Indians have been. The head honcho over there, chairman of the board, Bruce Schumacher from the Indians, scheduled to join us next.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
President Trump is threatening an extra import tax.
Higher tariffs as early as August 1st.
I think we'll have most countries done by July 9th. Yeah.
Flash flooding in central Texas.
Frantic search.
Hear the news.
Driving in the wrong direction, killing at least one person, all eastbound lanes.
As events happen.
5 people shot.
We'll happen to be there.
14-year-old boy jumped off a boat. Rescued to recovery, likely drowned.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hey, what's your favorite exhibit at the Indianapolis Zoo? Mine's got to be, hands down, the dolphin shows. They're awesome. Sun's out, animals are out. Let's make it a zoo day. The Indianapolis Zoo is the perfect summer escape, and AAA Hoosier Motor Club is helping you get there and beyond. AAA has now officially partnered with the Indianapolis Zoo, bringing exclusive new perks. Like all year long, AAA members can save up to 35% on general admission e-tickets.
Going to the Indianapolis Zoo, always a blast. Same with going on vacation. So if you're planning a summer road trip or maybe a staycation, it might be the perfect time to join AAA. Plus, if you run into trouble on the road, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas, lock your keys in the car. AAA is there 24/7, 365, no matter where your travels take you. So this summer, do yourself a favor and join AAA today. Visit AAA.com for more information about the new Indianapolis Zoo partnership and other great member savings.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Hendricks County 4-H Fair is back July 13th through the 19th in Danville. A state fair experience at county fair prices. Catch all the action with the truck and tractor pull, lawn and garden tractor pull, the championship rodeo, and the always wild demolition derby. Plus rides, games, and more at the Greatest Midway, brought to you by Drew Expositions. Get your discount tickets now at 4hcomplex.org. The Hendricks County 4-H Fair, July 13th through 19th. A state fair experience at county fair prices.
Hey, just a heads up, the Social Security Administration just announced they're now projected to run out of money 1 year earlier than expected. Your benefits could be cut by as much as 23%, and the average person could lose more than $100,000 in lifetime income. Discover how you could get every penny that's rightfully yours with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
So, if you've saved more than $200,000 but have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now. Just call 317-648-5120. This is not some off-the-shelf report. This is a customized analysis that could help you get every penny out of your Social Security. And it's free. Call Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
History returns with the Brickyard 400 at the famed 2.5-mile oval, celebrating NASCAR's roots at the racing capital of the world. Brickyard weekend starts Thursday, July 24th with the Indiana Sprint Week race, with sprint cars running on the IMS dirt track for the first time ever. Saturday, July 26th, get ready for action with the NASCAR Xfinity Series Pennzoil 250. Then Sunday, July 27th, the NASCAR Cup Series Brickyard 400, presented by PPG, returns to the oval of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Buy now and save at IMS.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Casey, we have a very special guest joining us on the WIBC hotline. It is summer, and one of the staples of summer in Indianapolis are the Indians at Victory Field. Bruce Schumacher, the chairman of the board for the Indians, joins us now. Bruce, hello.
Hey, how are you guys?
Great. So Casey and I were talking during the break. I think you guys have had something like 16 million fans go through the turnstiles at Victory Field. I know it was like 15 million in 2022. When you guys in the mid-90s decided to build Victory Field and move away from Busch Stadium, did you envision it becoming the juggernaut it became as a literal attraction for people to the city of Indianapolis?
Well, we really did, and I guess I have to credit my father, Max, with seeing that. There had been instances, and we were kind of in the early stages of a minor league baseball ballpark building revolution, and they were being built in downtown in cities. So there was other case studies, if you will, to look at, and we felt like we could draw 600,000 people in a season downtown. And I think that Dad actually projected 560. We played 70 games. He figured we could average 8,000 a game for 560, but generally have been closer to 6. And the thing that's fun about it, in addition to how great it's been for Indians baseball, as a lifelong resident of Indianapolis, I'm just so tickled for what it has done to that quadrant of downtown and the impact it's had on hotels and the impact it's had on White River State Park. Yeah, Bruce Schumacher, chairman of the board for the Indians, is our guest. So when you guys built Victory Field, you guys did it your own, right? Like, I mean, this is before the days where, like we saw at Lucas Oil Stadium or Gamebridge, where there's all this public money. You guys as a family basically decided we're going to do this. Well, it was a partnership. So the ballpark cost $20 million to build. We committed to coming up with 10 of that. And then the Capital Improvement Board did the other 10. So it was 50-50 essentially. What was the communication on that like? Because you think about 16 million people for a $10 million investment versus what we see in these other places and the rate of return on that. How did those communications go? And was there ever any pushback about leaving Busch Stadium, which was so iconic? You know, the pushback from leaving Busch Stadium was there was some of that from longtime fans who had grown up out there and taken their kids to games there for years. And listen, you know, Dad and myself, you know, we grew up going to games out there too. We had a sentimental attachment, but we knew that being at 16th and Riverside, 16th and Harding, whatever you did to the ballpark in that space, it was never going to have the potential for success that moving downtown would. And then the interesting thing was a lot of the people who didn't want to leave Busch Stadium, once they came to a game at Victory Field, they said, well, I get it now. Bruce Schumacher, chairman of the board for the Indians, is our guest. So talk about one of the cool things about the Indians, which is it is a family-owned business. And it's so neat because you started what is like the ticket manager. And like your old man was like, yeah, you're going to be taking over this business. You're going to learn to work it. You literally just worked your way up. Yeah, so the team, two different things that I should touch on. So the team, it comes from roots of community ownership. In 1955, Cleveland had owned the Indians franchise, but they were losing money at it. And they were going to sell it, and they didn't really care if it was to somebody from Indianapolis or somebody who might move it elsewhere. Well, Indianapolis rallied, as Indianapolis always rallies in these situations, and came up with an idea to have a community stock sale. So shares were sold for $10 a piece. You could buy as few as one. If you were really wealthy in 1955 and could afford to buy 100, you could spend $1,000. But they didn't want anybody to really be in a dominant position. So over time, that whittled down to about the 170 different shareholders we have today. As far as me starting as ticket manager, when I started, there were I made 5 full-time employees. We have 55 today. And I graduated from Indiana University. Our ticket manager had actually left to go take a job in Senator Lugar's office. And so Dad had me interviewed by the other staff members for the job. He had me approved by the board of directors, which is we never before or since I don't think ever had the board of directors approve the hiring of a ticket manager. But he didn't want. He used to like to say about a lot of things that if you give people the first guess, you take away the second guess.
It's a lot of steps to go through. So there's been a lot of talk in Indianapolis about an MLS team, an NHL team. And I know back in the mid-'80s, there was a guy named Art Angotti. He was the man who almost brought a Major League Baseball to Indianapolis. Has there ever been any talk with your family about the Indians swinging for the majors?
You know, I think we always felt like it would be difficult to do here. You know, I don't think Cincinnati or St. Louis or the two Chicagos would necessarily want us to have a major league team. I think you get to a point that the major league franchises are really dependent on corporate, large-sized corporations being able to spend a lot of money on suites and premium seats and advertising and all that. And I just don't know how deep that well is in Indianapolis. It'll be interesting as we talk about soccer, and something even got floated the other day about the NHL. You know, I think we're occupying the best space for baseball in Indianapolis that we possibly can. You know, a AAA team, a state-of-the-art ballpark, a ballpark that's essentially a major league ballpark with less seats, and I'm happy with where we are.
So I told Bruce when we talked on the phone, Bruce Schumacher is our guest. He's chairman of the board for the Indians. I told Bruce when we talked on the phone last week, I said, my first real job in radio was I was the producer for the Indianapolis Indians when I was 19 years old on WXNT. And what's funny about that is Howard Kellman was the play-by-play guy, and there have been a slew of guys who have come in with Howard since then. But Howard still remains. And that's one of the cool things I think about the Indians, Bruce, is that you've had the same guy broadcasting Indianapolis Indians baseball on radio, on television, on internet for literally generations now.
Yeah. Howard was actually hired when he was a senior at Brooklyn College. And after his first season, he went back and finished up and graduated, and then came back and essentially been with us ever since. We have thought over the years that he would get a major league job, and there were a lot of winters where he'd be a finalist for one, and then he didn't end up getting it. He has filled in and substituted for several teams in the major leagues. He annually he'll fill in and do a New York Yankees game, which is a big kick for him because he grew up as a Yankees fan. But it's really fortunate that we ended up with him and the longevity and the institutional knowledge. And Rob, if you've ever spent time talking to him, he's a mental encyclopedia of baseball facts. And I actually heard him interview Whitey Ford one time, and he asked Whitey Ford about something, and Whitey said, "Wow, I had forgotten all about that."
How do you guys keep, or do you have to keep, minor league baseball interesting? Is the ballpark enough? Is it like owning a McDonald's at this point where people are just going to come because the ballpark's so great? Or do you guys have to keep doing new innovative things to get people to go to the ball game?
Well, I think Victory Field is a huge piece of it, certainly. And keeping Victory Field looking brand new is probably job one. You know, July 11th, 3 days from now, will be the 29th anniversary of the opening of Victory Field. It has actually lasted longer than Market Square Arena or the Hoosier/RCA Dome. And we plan to be here a long time. So that's a big piece of it. But having exciting young players, competitive teams, this has been a fun year because we have played so well at home. We have a winning percentage over 700 at home. If we'd played just a little better on the road, we would have won the first half of the league. But a lot of wins at home, a lot of come from behind wins at home, and then all the promotions we do. You know, every Friday is a fireworks night, a lot of Wednesday day games, very kids-oriented on Sundays with cartoon characters. Not all kids get to run the bases. Tuesday dollar menu on Tuesday nights. So we've got a lot of different things that pull people for a lot of different reasons. And I think the other piece of it is I think it's fun to see an Andrew McCutchen or right now our best pitching prospect, Bubba Chandler, pitch up close and personal in front of you, and then it won't be that much longer. You'll be watching them play on TV in the major leagues.
Hey, before we let you go, how much, you guys had Paul Skeens, last year, right?
Yeah.
All these years run together now, who's probably the best pitcher in baseball, and everybody knew he was going to be when he was down there with you guys for the couple months that he was there. How much does, when that guy's on the mound at home, help with attendance, and how much when you have like a star player? I think Kurt Schilling one year came down and played, or maybe it was Derek Jeter one year was down there with you guys on rehab assignments. How much does that help attendance? Do you see noticeable differences?
Yes, Skeens helped attendance. He'd have helped us even more if we'd had him be on May 12th. But we knew we weren't going to have him long, and anybody who asked me about him all winter and all spring, I said, if you want to see him soon, because every start could very well be his last for us. And yeah, we had Kurt Schilling. Kurt Schilling pitched against us on opening day against Zach Duke, and we beat him. So that was fun, and it helped the crowd. And then Nomar Garciaparra, when he was a Red Sox player, we got really lucky. He spent 4 days on rehab at Pawtucket. We played Pawtucket only once all year at home, and we got him all 4 days.
Yeah, Nomar Garciaparra. That's who it was. I had him confused with Derek Jeter. Bruce, man. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you, thanks for all you guys do for the city. You guys are everything a pro sports franchise should be. You're no drama. You invest in the city. You put out a great product. You are an economic development driver. Man, we love the Indians, and we're so glad that you guys are a part of the city, and thanks for all you do.
Well, Rob Casey, great to be with you.
Yeah, thank you. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Investigating an officer-involved shooting. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Indiana State Police are now looking into that fatal shooting from Monday night in Greenfield, where a man was shot and killed by police during a domestic dispute. The Indianapolis City County Council says sometime next week they will consider a proposal that extends the curfew hours for 15 to 17-year-olds who are in downtown Indy. Councilor Krista Carlino is stepping away from the Democratic caucus.
For me, lack of leadership, abuse of power, and an inequitable application of the caucus rules really led me to make this decision, and I feel that I'm justified in stepping away.
She made that announcement at last night's meeting, and Caitlin Clark is at a threat of missing her 6th straight game as the team gets ready for Golden State tomorrow. Clark did practice on Monday and will be drafting her All-Star team later on tonight. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Why do so many foundation, basement, and crawl space companies ask for half your money up front? Could it be because that's easier to get than earning all your trust? At the Michaelis Corporation, they believe trust is earned, not demanded. That's why they do things differently. They start with a free inspection, no strings attached, to give you an honest assessment of what your home needs. No pressure, no surprises. When it's time for the work, they don't ask for a deposit or any upfront payment. Not a single dollar until the job is complete and you're 100% satisfied. That's how they've been earning trust for over 39 years. Whether it's sagging floors, moisture control, concrete repair, or a full crawl space encapsulation, you can count on Michaelis for repairs that last. Don't trust just anyone with your home. Choose the company that puts your trust first. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY today. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. The Michaelis Corporation, building trust beneath your feet.
It's Andy Moore's Summer Tent Sale in Avon. 4 days only, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. You'll find more savings, more selection, more than 1,000 used cars priced to move, plus our lowest lease deals of the summer. Shop Andy Moore Avon Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and Volkswagen, all packed under one tent on Rockville Road, East U.S. Highway 36. Get more for your money, only at Andy Moore Avon and online at andymore.com.
You know, sometimes dealing with home service contractors can be frustrating, whether it's missed appointments, sloppy workmanship, or just a general sense of indifference about helping you. Frustrating hardly describes that experience, Hammer.
And that's why we want to welcome a new advertiser to the Hammer and Nigel family, somebody you're going to be hearing quite a bit about in the coming months, Victor's Home Solutions.
Victor's installs the highest quality roofs available for your home, and they take all those negative stereotypes and turn them on their head.
They start with the basics, prompt, follow-up, showing up to appointments on time. And then they go above and beyond with installation teams that are so skilled, so precise, that Victor's is able to offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install.
5-star customer service and perfect installation. You're going to be really impressed with Victor's. They're the only roofer Hammer and I recommend to our listeners. It all starts with a free 21-point roof inspection. Call 1-866-VICTORS or victors.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Jim's Heating and Air Conditioning. Owner Jim Scott is based in Clinton County, but they're now serving a larger area.
Boone County and Hamilton County, there are just not enough HVAC contractors in those areas to handle the demand. So we can offer a value for them because of our 5-star rating, family-owned, quality.
On the north side, give Jim's a call at 765-601-1461. Jim's is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all, or your money back. Seminar 8 p.m. on Thursday, July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville, or 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Registration 30 minutes before seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com. We're all different. 1 in 5 of us live with a mental illness. Don't filter who you are. Talk to someone you trust. Learn more at bringchangetomind.org.
Hey guys, it's Rob. You know, if you've been thinking about upgrading your windows for a variety of reasons, now is the time to strike with an incredible deal from Universal Windows Direct. Listen to this. One of the great things about what I'm about to tell you is not only are the offers awesome, but yes, they're offers plural. You get to choose what works best for you. Choice number 1, payments for as low as $99 a month. That's right. Think about this. You could be living in your home with brand new comfortable windows helping keep you cool all summer long for just $99 a month. Or 12 months, no payments, and no interest. Your choice. It was $99 a month, 12 months, no interest, no payments. You choose. Now, some restrictions may apply, so to get all the details and schedule a totally free, no hassle, no obligation in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today, 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. And you can check all their work out on the web. See what could be in store for you. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Make summer nights unforgettable with Indy Decorative Concrete. Get 50% off a stunning fire pit with their best stamped concrete patio package. Offer ends September 1st. IndyDecorativeConcrete.com.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our home has had Rhino Shield for 10 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't know much about history.
Okay, we got to talk about the Epstein stuff. But before we do that, did you catch when Bruce Schumacher, who's the chairman of the board for the Indians, was with us, how much he said Victory Field cost to build? Did you catch the number?
Did you say 20?
$20 million.
Yeah.
They built Victory Field for $20 million.
And they keep it updated.
That's an incredibly low number.
Was there a tax abatement with that?
I don't know. What I do know is that, and think about this, they paid, the Indians paid for half of the cost of building that stadium.
Right.
And so it's a great example of when, can you imagine that would have been the equivalent of like $400 million the Ursays would have had to pay for Lucas Oil Stadium. And the Indians are just a premium example of a great, largely family-run, owned business. As he alluded to, there's other owners in, but you think of the Schumacher family running and for lack of a better term, owning the Indians, and their investment in the city and what a well-run franchise they are, and all they do every year, no matter who's on the team, no matter whether they're good or not, or no matter whether they've got a great minor leaguer or just a bunch of journeymen, they're just going to put 500,000 to 600,000 people through the turnstiles, and it's going to be an economic driver, and you're going to go and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think about like what the Indy 11 fiasco has turned into, and how they sort of had something similar planned with that diamond chain investment near Lucas Oil, which is now just an empty yard, right? I drive past it all the time on the way home, and you look at that and go, well, they were kind of like the Indians, right? They were just like a very well-run local sports team who said, we're content being here, and
this is what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And the city had such an opportunity to get behind them, and now that relationship, even though they're still here and playing, has been, I mean, it's broken, right? No, I mean, clearly they're focused on Major League Soccer, and that diamond chain thing is probably never going to happen. And so we're just very fortunate that the Indians have been so successful, and they do it the right way and just quietly go about their business every
stay in
summer.
their lane. Well, that's why I was asking him about that. Any chances of talk of expanding or growing into MLB? And we're going to keep on doing what we do.
This is, and obviously our longtime listeners will remember that move to downtown Indianapolis. It was such a shock because the Indians had been at Busch Stadium for so long in the ballpark, which if you ever drive down Crawfordsville Road, 16th Street, you'll see the remnants of the field still there. They've incorporated the wall and then the front of the stadium into that apartment complex. And so you can still see, and I just so fondly remember as a kid going there, that was such a big deal. And people, I remember at the time, and why we asked about it, some people were just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Busch Stadium isn't going to exist anymore. But they took that and they made that such an iconic thing with Victory Field, and they've turned that into the memory-making thing that Busch Stadium was on steroids.
Yeah, you did a good job of setting that up where you told, okay, he's only got 10 minutes because we could have talked to him for so much longer.
I hate that. I wish that we would have an hour with him, and our just show isn't set up to do that. But I just wish, like, that's a guy I wish I could have had an hour with because you would have not even scratched the surface on an hour.
Right.
But yeah, what a great institution. And it's fond memories for me because the Indians, I say they gave me a shot. You technically work for the radio station when you produce for like a minor league baseball team, but they, can approve or not approve whoever.
Right.
And not that they was like high on their list of who's producing the games, but they gave me, a real opportunity to learn about radio. Not that there's, no offense, Kevin, not that there's anything to producing a minor league baseball game. Pot them up, hit play, pot them down, right? I mean, that's really it, right? But when you're 19 years old, it's like, I'm in the business, baby.
You're lucky they didn't make you interview with the board of directors and everybody else.
I didn't have nearly the firm opinions back then that I do today.
Gotcha. All right, well, speaking of opinions, let's hear some in regards to what's going on with the Epstein, or lack of the Epstein list, the client list.
We opened our show with this today because I think it's the story, and that's why I wanted to touch on it again. Because I think this is the first time where you're seeing real ardent supporters. I'm not talking about people like me or you who voted for Trump, who come here on a kind of daily basis because we don't like any of these people and are like, okay, yeah, we voted for the guy because he was the better of the two options, but here's where we think he's coming up a little short.
Right.
I'm talking about like the never no criticism, no matter what, Trump loyalist people. I'm talking about like the Alex Jones type people, right? The Benny Johnsons. These people have come out and are very critical. Even the cat turd guy was critical of him.
Which is shocking because he is a big cheerleader.
This is a real opportunity. I say opportunity, not in a good sense, but this has potential, probably a better way to say it. Potential to be the first real break between Trump and his base. And once that happens, and I'm not sure how Trump rectifies it, because he's supposed to be having a cabinet meeting right now, right?
Right now, well, if it's still going, I imagine it is. He
Yeah.
had a cabinet meeting starting at 11.
I don't know how they're going to square this because they clearly said he campaigned on this list exists, this information exists. Elect me, I'll tell you who it is, and I'll throw it out there. And then Pam Bondi and these other people who he hired to run the FBI, Bongino and Patel, they made careers in media talking about this, right? And then to come out and go, there wasn't anything there.
No further disclosures are warranted. But yes, they are. This wasn't just one person and Maxwell, his accomplice, right? I mean, they had to have an entire infrastructure to pull this off, and logistics and coordination. I mean, this is a system, and it really draws into question public trust. That's what this is about. It's not just the sex trafficking. It's the question of public trust.
You have an interesting theory on why you think they squashed it. It's a little different than mine.
Oh, I don't know if really.
Come on. I showed you mine. Don't you want to show me yours?
I just think it's very interesting that this all happened while Netanyahu was there. And there's a lot of talk that maybe Epstein was Mossad, working for another country. And could that Nobel Peace Prize nomination been based on a few things, like Trump squashed this story, take the heat for it, and I'm going to nominate you?
Yeah, the problem Trump has now, and Matt Hiblin and I are one of our bosses, although he says he's not our boss. He's like, I cannot fire you. I'm not your boss.
Sure.
But we give him credit as being our boss because we want him to feel good about himself. We were talking about this in the hallway, and I said the problem Trump has now is he's already contradicted himself. Well, it exists, and I'll show it to you. Oh, it doesn't exist. Nobody believes it doesn't exist in whatever form, whether there's actually a book with names or video footage or written receipts or, emails or what. It exists in some form. Nobody believes nothing was going on. So how do you now pivot back to, because Trump likes to go with the wind. And Trump, I'm sure everything in his instinct now goes, well, we got to fix this. We got to give these people what they want. We've got cat turd against us. We got to solve this. But now he's already said it doesn't exist. So how do you come back and rectify this now?
Right. So, and that's just it. They're saying, you know what? Nope, no more from this story is coming out. Why not?
Yeah.
Why is there no more coming out?
One of the things that they have highly underestimated, and it is rare because Trump is usually very good at reading a room. And it does then come to your point, what was the leverage? Because nobody believes there's nothing there. Nobody believes everything's been released. Nobody believes that they were sex trafficking to no one. It wasn't just going to this island where Epstein was some genetic,
there were cameras everywhere.
and having sex with all these girls on his own. There were people that were going there, people that were, and it does come to your point of what leverage did people have over Trump then for him to squash the story. And here's the lack of reading the room, which is people are invested in rooting out child sex predators. There's a reason that there's all these guys who have thousands or hundreds of thousands of subscribers on their YouTube feeds where they go around and catch these people on the internet. People are interested in it. There's a reason Chris Hansen became, at one point, one of the biggest media personalities in the world when the To Catch a Predator stuff was at its tippy top, because people were interested in it. They hate these people. They hate people who abuse little kids, and they want to see them get their comeuppance. And Jeffrey Epstein was probably the most high-profile sex predator, child sex predator in the history of this country. And the fact that it just all went away and he conveniently unalived himself, people aren't buying it, and they want to know the truth.
I think this is much bigger than just sex trafficking. I think that this is draws into question national security and the institutions.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon, the biggest stories in Indy. Plus, Jeff Boggs will join us, and we'll play a round of bare naked ladies or symptoms of rabies. 93 WIBC.
Indy Humane, committed to helping Central Indiana's pets in need since 1905. Find your new best friend today, indyhumane.org.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
Premier Deck Coating, the ultimate deck protection. Who are they? Well, they're a sister company of Rhino Shield, and Premier Deck Coating is the product you need if you're tired of applying the same old stain and paint every couple of years to your deck. It's Terry, Stacy, and David and I have a deck that's probably 25 years old. The countless hours and the money that we spend on maintaining that deck never ends. And then we heard about Premier Deck Coating. Family owned, based right here in Indy, and they are going to completely transform our deck with their special formulated product, which repels moisture, scratch resistant in virtually any color that we want, and backed by a 10-year guarantee. No more spending time staining or painting every year. Premier Deck Coating will keep our deck looking great for years to come. Premier Deck Coating can also do fences and pergolas too. For a free quote, call 317-696-4071 or visit premierdeckcoating.com.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
What's the best place to shop this summer? Macy's. It's our first ever Star Deals Week. 6 full days of store-wide savings on everything you want. From shorts and swim to fine jewelry, all up to 50% off. Plus, home updates from Hotel Collection, Green Pan, and more, up to 60% off. Not only that, shop Macy's.com for new flash deals every day that everyone will love. No membership required. So don't miss Star Deals Week and Sunday at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's Andy Moore's summer tent sale in Avon. 4 days only, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. You'll find more savings, more selection, more than 1,000 used cars priced to move, plus our lowest lease deals of the summer. Shop Andy Moore Avon, Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and Volkswagen, all packed under one tent on Rockville Road, East U.S. Highway 36. Get more for your money, only at Andy Moore Avon and online at andymore.com.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org.
Teachers shape the future. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Breaking news updates, local headlines, and statewide coverage are always available at WIBC.com. When the news moves fast, we will too. Stay in the know while you're on the go with WIBC.com.
Okay, so Black Sabbath claimed that this was it for them.
Final show.
And it was a one-off. And I don't know. I mean, is Ozzy Osbourne still a big deal? There was a period in the mid-2000s when he had the show.
Right.
Like, isn't it funny how, like, there was this window where all of these 80s icons had resurgence through reality shows, whether it was Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Ozzy.
Look at Donald Trump.
I mean, Trump is the biggest one of those who made but that was like a thing where all of these people who were seemingly washed up or past the prime. Trump, not so much because he was a business guy, but these actors, musicians, wrestlers, in the case of Hogan, they all had this resurgence and then this great second wind because of people who didn't know them for whatever they were famous for, but knew them because of the reality TV stuff.
Yep. So let's see, Black Sabbath. Where do we rank them? I think you got to rank them pretty high.
Well, you know my rule. If you've had 3 hits, you are a big deal. You are a mega star. If you have had 3 songs that crack the top 40, that is a heck of an accomplishment. And Black Sabbath certainly checks that box.
Yeah. Looked at as what? The founders of heavy metal.
Yeah, it's not
There's a whole genre of music.
It's not my thing, but I also recognize that just because things aren't my thing, like Taylor Swift, I'm not naive to the fact that even though I'd rather, stab my eyes out, and the same thing sort of with the Black Sabbath stuff, but it's not this massive event when they show up somewhere. If they played Ruoff right now, they would sell out Ruoff. If they played Gainbridge, they would sell it. They could probably do a substantial or near sellout of Lucas Oil Stadium. They are clearly a big deal, and they clearly still, even at his diminished condition, would be a big draw.
Yeah. Inspired lots of bands. I mean, you can look to Metallica and Iron Maiden, and they all got their inspiration from Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. I just always remember him as being the guy who bit the bat.
Yeah, my thing with the aging rockers, though, is, and I remember my dad and I having this conversation when I was a kid. He said, as a kid, it was hard to watch Mickey Mantle hobble around the bases at the end of his career because that's your parting memory.
And you want to remember them in their prime.
And that's what I told you. I said, like with the Springsteen stuff, even though people like Jake Query went to the Springsteen concert last year, he's like, it's the greatest concert I've ever seen. And I look at it and go, seems really slow to me. I don't want to remember that. So if you're a Black Sabbath fan and you're seeing Ozzy with the Parkinson's on stage,
that's not how you want to go
out, right? Don't you want to just remember him as the way it was? Although him being kind of out of it was part of the shtick, right?
Yeah.
So is it really even that big a deal?
Well, I will remember you until tomorrow when we meet again. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
Neighborhoods are popping up everywhere, but if you want something different than what you're currently seeing, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, can build you a unique, custom home on your own private lot or anywhere you can bring your own builder. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. Visit Joyner Homes Model Homes or go to joynerhomes.com to see floor plans and pricing and more. With Joyner Homes, you can even start from scratch if you want. Check out their 5-star Google reviews and visit joynerhomes.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated Limited text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text Rocky to 369-369. That's ROCKY to 369-369. Rocky to 369-369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Make summer nights unforgettable with Indy Decorative Concrete. Get 50% off a stunning fire pit with their best stamped concrete patio package. Offer ends September 1st. IndyDecorativeConcrete.com.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
We have to get some stakeholders involved.
I've got a 15-year-old daughter. I got an 11-year-old son. I know where they're at all times.
For me, lack of leadership.
And then people at that private school will work with that family.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
Trying to get them off the streets sooner. Mostly sunny and 81 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. A proposal was introduced at an Indianapolis City County Council meeting Monday night to extend the curfew hours for kids in Marion County. Democrat Leroy Robinson is the one who brought the proposal to the council, and he said it's not about penalties.
We have to get some stakeholders involved. So the city, IMPD, the mayor's office can't do this alone. We have to get stakeholders involved. Most importantly, we're going to work with the Boys and Girls Club, all different agencies throughout the city.
Under this proposal, it would be unlawful for any kid between the age of 15 and 17 to be in public during the following curfew hours: after 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. on Friday or Saturday, after 9 p.m. on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, as well as before 5 a.m. on any day of the week. Republican Councilor Michael Paul Hart says this proposal is weak.
I've got a 15-year-old daughter. I got an 11-year-old son. I know where they're at all times, right? And if there's not, there are organizations and ways that we can try and bring some of that, and that goes back to the question about where we're spending the resources from the city. Is it on parenting classes, is it on diversion programs, or is it on intervention programs?
The public will be able to comment on the proposal when it's reviewed in the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee on July 16th at 5:30. Indianapolis City County Councilor Krista Carlino is stepping away from her caucus. Jarrett Lewis reports.
For me, lack of leadership, abuse of power, and an inequitable application of the caucus rules really led me to make this decision, and I feel that I'm justified in stepping away for that reason.
That's Carlino speaking to reporters at the council meeting Monday night. Also happening then, a vote on a motion to remove Council President Bob Bosley and Vice President Allie Brown from their leadership roles, something Carlino has taken some heat for, along with the call for Mayor Joe Hogsett to resign. The vote failed, however, with just 4 council members seeking the removal. Jarrett Lewis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A woman was fatally struck by an SUV while walking on a street in Indianapolis this morning. Police say the incident happened on the city's southwest side in an area that was poorly lit on Kentucky Avenue. The driver of the SUV didn't show any signs of being impaired.